Hey, listen up, people. It goes like this. When I was just a small kid, my daddy ran out on me and I grew up without a father. No shock there. Now, obviously, this gave me a huge affirmation complex that was so bad that I developed a permanent need for everyone to think that I'm special, even though I've got no skills, no talent, definitely can't write, and as it pertains, absolutely no creative abilities whatsoever. So I retreated myself into comics and really haven't grown up since. And we're not even talking about the mature highbrow comics. Hell no. I mean, real goofy mainstream superhero comics for kids. See, my completely deluded and aggressive attitude is wild. In my mind, if I can shout loud enough and long enough that I am a certain thing that I want to be, then enough people just might believe me. I've been nothing but a basic ass YouTuber for the past 16 years. And even now at 33 years old, I still haven't grown up. I still argue with 13-year-olds about who's the best Spider-Man. And I still have an embarrassing, hysterical meltdown if someone hurts my delicate, fragile little ego. Recently, I found an easy way to get just 13% of my YouTube subscribers to all give me $30 each. And in return, I give them a piece of completely laughable garbage, which also serves as a vehicle for my childish and uncontrollable ego. I'm Derek Julies, and welcome to my Egoverse.
We're really not affiliated with Geeks and Gamers as far as I'm concerned. I really just want to make that clear.
Thinking of,
Morales has his own background.
I love the last show.
We're about inclusiveness and we want new people in.
Chinese.
Hello again, friend of a friend. I knew you win.
The Fandom Initiative.
How do you do, fellow kids?
Re-educate me? They're more than welcome to try.
Turf is just
Great what job. Was that about?
Bring him up. Great work, fellas.
I was paying attention.
Yes, we're on board, guys.
Well, you know what? Dane was supposed to be on a break, but here he is. I guess
here I am.
Yeah, cheating.
I'm relaxed, man. I'm having a good time. I've been chilling. I really have been having a pretty good week. So, you know.
Just wait until someone comes into chat and says that you're
can't be phased.
Bad
can't
faith.
Be phased.
Yeah, I'm the bad faith one. God damn it, he better not be called bad faith. I'm bad faith. They taught me that, guys. They taught me that. How's everybody doing?
Yeah, pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
What do we got today?
Well, we have stuff today. Shit. Did you hear about this show Ahsoka?
You
guys hear about that?
No.
No,
Ahsoka my feet in water. You know.
Yeah. Well, it's the worst Star Wars series ever. I don't know if you guys saw that. It is atrocious. It's
I
terrible.
mean, I wasn't expecting so many women.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of women in it, and there's not enough men in it. I noticed, and like even one of the prominent white guys, they paint him blue, and it's like, why can't we just have white men?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they painted him blue because he's sad, and all men are sad. So this is just an anti-man TV show, I believe.
Well, look, I'll say this. I don't want to spoil anything, but kind of a spoiler. I'll not be specific, but what happened at the end with a couple of those women characters, it's like, hey, leave them there. You know what I mean? Like, y'all can stay there. We don't need you.
So,
no,
I've not watched the finale. So if you guys want at any point to have a little discussion about the finale, because I haven't had time, I'll just take off my headphones and you guys can have a chat about it.
I saw it like a couple hours ago. You slacker.
You know, I'm unprepared.
So I guess what's everybody's overall thoughts? Because real quick, I'll just say I thought this was probably my second favorite of the Star Wars series so far.
The first one was Book of Boba Fett.
Well, yeah, naturally.
Yeah,
the series that had where half the series didn't even have Boba Fett. Yes.
I mean, that's fine. Terra story. It really is cool that you. I was actually going to talk about a take from a guy that I actually really respect who didn't connect with it, and I was like, that's valid.
I liked about 85 to 90% of it. I think there was a few things I didn't really care for, but overall, I think it was a fun series, and I'd like to see a season 2.
Absolutely. Well, it definitely feels like it's set up for season 2. Guess my was there.
All of these, well, not all the Disney Plus shows, but at least the Mandoverse, right? Like the Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Book of Boba Fett. It's all leading to.
Always when I'm streaming with you guys, always
they're here to get you.
I don't even know who that is. I'm not answering.
That makes sense.
But they're all leading up to the upcoming Dave Filoni movie, right?
Yes, I assume so.
Yeah, the big Thrawn Mandoverse culmination movie. But I don't know if when that's coming, if there's going to be a season 4 of Mandalorian, season 2 of Ahsoka, and Book of Boba Fett. I don't know, another one maybe.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I heard that movie was announced, and I was like, I mean, I enjoy Mando a lot. Boba Fett was fine, a little disappointing, but I don't know. I thought it was fine.
I like my favorite parts of Boba were the Mando episodes.
I know, and that's kind of my issue, because it's those shouldn't be the highlights of that series.
My theory is that I think Boba Fett is a character that was more interesting when they didn't have anything other than falling into the Sarlacc pit. I think that's what made Boba Fett so interesting. Bringing Boba Fett back was never gonna be as good as everybody wanted it to be. There was no chance of that ever happening.
I mean, we're talking about a character who frankly just went out because Han Solo tapped the back of his jetpack and died. So they always have to come up with these theories on why he came back. And the idea of Boba Fett was more interesting.
Yes, and I was gonna say I think Boba Fett would have been interesting in a group show as Boba Fett being a character in that show. I think a show around Boba Fett, which needed 2 of the 6 episodes to be completely not about Boba, where it was really, really weird. I
was gonna say, I wasn't excited for the Dave Filoni movie until Ahsoka, and now Ahsoka's kind of got pieces in place where I'm like, okay, now I'm fucking excited. I want to see what's gonna happen.
I'm pretty mixed. I really am. It's I have a weird experience with these shows. It's I'll be enjoying it for the most part as I'm watching it, and then whenever it's over, I'm just kind of like, did I really get a lot out of that? Or you know what I mean? I don't know. It's just kind of feels like empty calories afterward or something. And this one was actually one of definitely the best one after Andor. And of course, what I just said, Andor does not apply to that. Andor's fucking great. It is not empty calories. It's a real healthy meal. And then this show was about, I guess probably about what DJ said. It's 80-85% awesome. There's some awesome shit in it. And then there's just some, I don't know, it's lacking in a couple of spots. I'll have to think about it a little bit more. But
I mean, I know exactly the things that I didn't like in it because I've thought about it. And it's not even spoilers. I just don't think Thrawn was established very well for people that didn't watch the animated show. That's probably one of my biggest things. And to be fair, without any spoilers, I don't think Thrawn ever did anything in the show to express to new viewers why Thrawn was so dangerous. And I think that was a problem. And there's other smaller things. That is probably the biggest one, I think, is the Thrawn stuff.
Yeah, no, well, I like Thrawn here, but yeah, you are right. Like, he is clearly a strategist, but like, it would have been better if his strategy was actually like super deep or something like that. His strategy was kind of obvious.
It wasn't.
Just,
like
just delay the good guys until you have time to get away and then get away.
Yeah, Thrawn was generally the one. It's like we're just seeing him kind of go through these like momentary strategies with what's her name as needed, and it's just like, really, that's it? That's the master strategist? Okay.
Yeah.
And I want to point out that my criticism of Thrawn has nothing to do with his belly. I've seen memes online of people pointing out that he's got a little gut or whatever. And I'm like, there's so many things you can complain about with this version of Thrawn, and that's the thing you go to, is that he doesn't look exactly like the one from the cartoons.
That's fucking stupid.
You know, like, Thrawn's just like a master strategist, dude. He's not like... It's such a weird takeaway.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I always saw like the voice of Thrawn as being more important than like his appearance, and they got the voice actor.
Yeah, no, I think
like
he
Lars
sounds
Mikkelsen.
menacing. Yeah.
And
I mean,
I think I probably have a bias when it comes to Thrawn because it is Lars Mikkelsen, and whenever there is a Danish in anything prominent, I'm like, fuck yes.
You heard it here, Turf.
Well, I mean, Danish people have such a dark and menacing voice. I just can't trust a Danish voice when I hear one.
It's true, we do. I see some people in chat that are like, well, simple strategy is the best sometimes, and Thrawn's his plan was pretty reasonable, but that's true. Both of those are true. But this is where they didn't establish that he was a master strategist, just that he happened to know a couple of simple strategies that really kind of a lot of people could have.
You have to understand, coming from people that were stepping into this with fresh eyes, and I know this because several people that watched it with me had not seen anything from the animated world. They were wondering why Thrawn was so dangerous, and the show never established why.
Yeah,
there was nothing in the episodes, even without spoiling the finale, that show why Thrawn is such a dangerous character. And I think that is a flaw in the writing. I don't know what they could have done to maybe make it more obvious, but it just wasn't very well put together for people coming into a show for the first time.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree, because like, this draws lots on the animated series, because like for me, like I kind of knew Thrawn because I knew what he was based on, because I've read the Timothy Zahn books. Like, it's been a while, but I read them, so I have a good idea of Thrawn. But like characters like Ezra, Sabine, these are characters I'm just meeting, and they do a decent job introducing them, but like it's a little clunky at the same time, especially Sabine. I thought that was a bit too obvious.
I have a certain theory that I think what's going to happen is people that watch this that didn't know anything about the animated show are now, between this and the next season, going to go back and watch the animated show to try and figure out more about Thrawn. And I think that's why they did that. I'm just that's me throwing out a conspiracy theory. I think that they left it so weird with Thrawn so that people would want to know more about the character, which could be genius or it could backfire. We'll see what happens.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. After watching this, I kind of want to go back and watch Rebels.
Yeah.
So it's kind of working on me.
Because it was also a really weird strategy they did. Because they released a set of Rebels and Clone Wars episodes that are like, you should watch this before Ahsoka, but they released it so close to Ahsoka releasing. It's like, there's no time for anyone to do that, right? But it's like now a lot of people are interested.
I didn't even know they did that. I'll go ahead and go over kind of my ideas thinking about this, because like what I love about Andor is that Andor was the first thing about Star Wars that had zero Force in it. Like Star Wars is sci-fi fantasy, and Andor has like no fantasy elements at all. It's just gritty sci-fi. And what I love about Ahsoka is almost the opposite. Like Ahsoka leans so hard into the fantasy stuff. Like we have like fucking hyperspace whales and fucking world between worlds.
Witches casting magic. Like there's magic in this kind of. Like I know it's Force magic, but it's still magic.
Yeah, it's magic. Yeah, the Force has always been magic, which is cool.
And spoiler, I guess, but like, Z words, stormtroopers. You know what I'm saying? Zombies.
Oh yes,
there were zombie stormtroopers, and I was like, what? That was actually pretty dope.
You're spoiling it for Turf. You're spoiling it for Turf.
You ruined it. You ruined it.
If you guys want to have a conversation, I'll give you guys 5 minutes. Just like get it all out.
I'm good.
I mean, when Ahsoka became a zombie, that was just so unexpected. And then, like, eating the brains of Sabine really threw me off.
Yeah, well, then she because she's a hero.
Back as a zombie, and then Anakin Skywalker had a lightsaber battle. What?
Ahsoka's a hero, so she knew that she had to take her lightsabers and just like scissor her own head off, and it was pretty,
right.
brutal.
And the Kaiju Ewok was incredible. I love the Kaiju Ewok.
No, I know. Just tearing through that Star Destroyer like it was nothing, man.
Does it just one spoiler, right? Does it end with Thrawn snapping? And then everyone disappears.
I mean,
the Infinity Gauntlet. Yeah.
The Night Sisters summon the Infinity Gauntlet, and he puts it on, and
he's about to snap, but then right as he does, one of the space whales comes flying down and is like, Thrawn! And fucking
It learns how to like speak just for that.
Yeah. The absolute like meltdown over this show on social media has been weird to me, because I think they're just looking for things to complain about. Honestly, there's nothing. Even if you don't like the show, it's not doing anything egregious. So I don't understand what the issue is. You know what I mean?
Like if there there's like you brought up the Thrawn thing, and I think that's a perfectly valid thing, because like I know like Turf, you've seen Rebels, right?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Rebels overall?
I like Rebels. Yeah, there are definitely some snoozers. like Rebels has some very peak Star Wars and some very like and but yeah, overall I like Rebels, and when it hits hits really hard, and I like a lot of the characters.
True. And like for me, I have the Zahn books to fall back on with Thrawn, but like the other characters I'm like, I don't know, crap. But like I feel like this is doing a good job setting up stuff, but like, we really need more with Thrawn.
I think at the end of the day, you want like, and there's a comment here from Tara that says it's a very watchable show. And I want to say that I think that's what it comes down to, is that if a show is watchable, then it's a success, right? I mean,
yeah,
that's fine. I mean, like I feel like if a show, if a show is a very watchable show, then that's a success. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. I mean, if a show is unwatchable, that means it's not good. So you can put out a great piece of art, but then somebody will go, it's so boring, I can't sit through it. Then that's a failure, because you did not achieve. It's a visual art form. You want it to be watchable. So
yeah, absolutely.
When it comes to the characters, I think obviously as someone who's watched Rebels, like I think other than Thrawn, right? But like a lot of the characters, they're done well for this specific story. Like their motivations are kind of established individually. Some of the characters have like arcs that are established in this show, but I feel like a lot of the attachment and like the emotional core of their characters, like that comes from Rebels, like you understand that Sabine is motivated to find Ezra, and that determines a lot of her actions, right? But it's like you understand why when you've watched Rebels, right? Then you have the connection between them, like you've seen all that.
I would say for a show like this that had so many prerequisites coming into it to be so loved by so many people, is it sings to the ability to translate something like this into live action, and just the sheer, I mean, this just proves that cartoon characters can be made into like live action characters that people care about. I mean, pretty much.
But yeah, I think it's also worth saying that they they probably should have established a bit more. So Turf, I'm about ready to drop a minor spoiler towards the very end of the series, so just FYI. So when Hera and Ezra are reunited, I literally have no idea what their connection is in this series. And I had to look it up, because my first thought was, oh wait, is Ezra the one who's the father to her kid? And then I realized, no, Hera was a mentor to Ezra.
Right.
So yeah, it's more like he's a
But people might take away that
he
was the father to the kid, because I think that was another thing. I also want to point out that scene in general was another issue I had, and I didn't want to say anything while Turf was watching or whatever, is when Ezra stepped out of the ship with the helmet on. I'm like, dude, why did you have the helmet on? Like, you could have been shot. Why just take 2 seconds to take the helmet off? I know it was for dramatic effect, but it was a little annoying, because I was like, come on, that's TV show shit.
It's there's just little stuff like that. Overall, I thought it was good, but like there's elements from the animated series where it's like you need to kind of reintroduce that, especially since this is a new series. But still, even with all those issues, I'd call this the second best Star Wars series behind, or I should say live action series since Andor. And I like Mando, even season 3 that everybody hates.
I like Mando season 3. All right, you know.
Yeah, you should be good, Turf. You should be good. You should be.
All right, nice.
So, anyways, when Ahsoka dies, I was just like, oh my god, this is. So...
No.
Well, look, okay.
He's
joking.
back.
You're joking, but that one episode, I was on the edge of my seat whether she was going to die or not. You know, it did such a great job of convincing me. That
yeah, that's true.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just a little foreshadowing there.
And I do want to say that it is a shame that we're not going to see Balin back as Rey, because he killed that role. Like, such a commanding presence and such a great addition to like the Jedi lore. Whoever comes in to fill his shoes, good luck, because he did a fantastic job.
So I'm guessing Balin does not die.
No, he dies.
I didn't say that.
I've seen a lot on Twitter already. It's not,
actually, I don't remember what happens to Balin. What happens to Balin?
They leave it very vague. I mean,
look, I will say this. I don't think it's a spoiler really to say that like that last shot of him, like that's fucking dope. That's a great last shot for that actor to have. I assume that's his last project, right?
Yeah. I don't think he did anything after
You mean when he's impaled on the lightsaber or not impaled on the lightsaber?
Very respectful of the actor.
Yeah, no, it was pretty epic shot for him to end.
I know a lot of people did complain that without any spoilers that the finale did leave a lot of weird cliffhangers. In terms of finale, but even more reason for us to get a season 2, I think.
Yeah, no, it's definitely set up for a season 2, and I'm excited for a season 2 because the main story is resolved. Spoiler term. But yeah, it's still like he
doesn't know how it's resolved though. He doesn't know how it's resolved. So.
I mean, I'm sure that Thrawn definitely does not come back.
Yeah, no,
they kill
Thrawn's
Thrawn.
Dead. Thrawn's super dead, of course.
Yeah, they've killed Thrawn. He was just like a one-off character.
No, it sets up things very well for season 2, and I want to see it. And kind of like we have this universe now with Boba Fett, which and Mando's.
What's the next Star Wars show now after this is done? Do we know what the next one is?
Is it Acolyte?
It might be. I know for Strikes, like everything's like.
I know there was like a leaked. I didn't watch, but like a leaked trailer for the Acolyte. Like,
how was it leaked? That's weird. How was it leaked?
I don't know. I just saw people being like, "Oh, did you watch the leaked Acolyte? It actually looks good." That's all I know. And then I was like,
Acolyte is the Jude Law one, right?
No, that's Skeleton Crew. Acolyte is the High Republic one, I think.
Oh, okay.
About like Jedi and stuff.
Don't know
so next is Skeleton Crew.
Okay, so that's the one with Jude Law and like the kids.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's upcoming and mysterious.
Is that the same timeline, or do we know?
Let me see.
I think that's later, right? Or is it the same?
So there's not much information on this show yet, only that it's Amblin-esque coming-of-age story about a group of kids lost in space around the time frame of The Mandalorian, and that it initially codenamed.
Okay.
So they might be in the movie too.
Oh, and John Watts is directing it, or is the showrunner or creator of it, I guess.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
John Watts is someone I like, but he doesn't thrill me, so I don't know. But he might be inspired, so
he's competent. It says it stars for kids, but it is not a kids show. It's Star Wars Goonies, basically. So that's interesting.
Okay.
But I think after that, it's Acolyte, right?
Andor season 2.
Oh, when is the Acolyte?
After Andor season 2.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Fair.
That's a ways away. That's end of next year, probably.
Yeah.
Well, everything got delayed right now, so
that's
why
true.
would there be
to see what comes up?
That's
I mean, the actors are still out, so production stuff is not started.
Yeah. I'm just excited for all of those three, because two of them were like kind of different to a lot of what we've gotten before, and then the other one is Andor season 2, which is
was it filmed before or after Ahsoka is the question. I don't know if that was Ahsoka might have been his last actual like most recent project, because films sometimes take a lot longer to come out.
I mean, there might be stuff on the shelf that he's done that
he might even have had voice acting that he did that we don't know about, because I know with Chadwick Boseman, all of his Marvel stuff was like 2 years after he had passed.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, are we ready to look into some bad takes on Ahsoka?
Sure.
Yeah.
So did you guys hear about this Mauler video that he did that's less than 8 hours long?
Oh my god!
What?
Really?
How do you even make a good point in that if it's not that long?
You can't make a point in under 8 hours.
He can't say anything about the show unless it's longer than the show.
Yeah, for sure. But he did a 46-minute review of well, I don't even know if
that's basically a short.
Yeah, he talked. It's a YouTube short. Yeah, it's like a YouTube short for sure. He even did it vertical like that. No, but he goes over Ahsoka, and he has some takes that let's just say I have issues with. So I grabbed some clips of it that we can go over and discuss. So here's one of the first takes he has where I found it interesting. So yeah, let's just go over it.
You're being bad faith, Bob.
Little Star Wars god. She is the bestest and brightest, most wonderful and good character. Nobody is convinced that she was going to take her own life because she brings death to the world. That's fucking retarded. Especially when death is threatening the world and the people she loves. So why the fuck of all times would she be giving up now?
So this is essentially him. Like, I find this one really fucking interesting because, like, this is him. It feels like he's complaining that she's perfect, but then, like, because she's not perfect, that's bad. I feel like, yeah. So it goes back and forth on that one.
Was this before the whole like talking to Anakin episode, or was this after that?
This was.
This is when she's waking up for that, right?
Okay, I just didn't know if this was like a clip or something. Yeah.
We'll get to it because he has to like this is between 5 and 6, and he had to release it between them because there's one of the things we're gonna go over where episode 6 kind of.
Okay, I was gonna say because Ahsoka prior to this moment where she comes back from the dead or whatever was different because she was dealing with trauma, PTSD, all that stuff, and so that was kind of addressed in the series.
Yeah,
so exactly. I'm not sure what perfect or imperfect. I mean, which one do you want? Do you want her to be a broken character that needs to be fixed, or do you want her to be a Mary Sue? I mean,
I'm starting to think he has problems with the women characters or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, possibly. But yeah, there's just
it's so weird how much some of these content creators have turned on Ahsoka as a character, because she used to be like the standard, being like their standard for I'm not misogynistic because I like Ahsoka. She's
I hate Rey, but I like Ahsoka. But now Sunday hate Ahsoka, which is Ahsoka's a Mary Sue now.
I mean, it's absolutely not surprising to me because I mean I've been saying for years that they don't care about anything they're consuming.
Yeah.
They strictly move with the wind. This is why a lot of channels, when they started out with Ahsoka, they were kind of testing the waters to see what their fans would think before they actually put their feet in the sand and decided to pick a side because they didn't know which way it was going to go. And I think even now, if we were to look around, I'm pretty sure you'll see some Chud channels like absolutely hating Ahsoka and some not sure if Ahsoka is good or bad because they don't have any of their own opinions, honestly.
Just like with anything else these days, it all gets churned into the fucking culture war, dichotomy, false dichotomy bullshit. And we're going to get people probably on stream, but definitely in the comments afterwards showing up, calling us shills and shit. So I forgot I wanted to do this.
Oh, yeah.
Chilling in the name of.
Yeah.
The shell stream.
Pay me, Disney. Pay me.
Oh, I wish.
I didn't get my check
make
yet.
a check out too.
I didn't get my check yet.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for my check.
Yeah, Dane, when are we getting our checks?
Oh, they're on the way, man. They're on the way. Yeah.
Dane just kept them all.
Yeah. Well, here's another take, and these next two takes kind of go next to each other because they're interesting how they compare. But here's one of the takes in the video.
Jesus, what hell cringe is dribbling onto my screen? Get out of this fucking universe, you Vader-obsessed wannabe shitwits. It's the breathing, the red lightsaber, the fucking outfit, every goddamn time. You cannot tell a fucking story that doesn't revolve around the same 5 people in this piss stain of a universe.
He hates Star Wars. Like, he fucking hates Star Wars, man. Why is he talking about it?
First of all, he seems to be complaining because this imagery looks cool.
Yeah, this is probably one of the coolest shots from the show, to be honest.
Yeah, this looks. That's just a really quick moment, and it looks cool. And,
so what are they?
Like,
so my question would be, if you don't want these characters and you don't want the new characters, then who the fuck do you want?
He just hates Star Wars. It just hit me so strong just now. Like, he's not talking about the show. His fucking, like, just that venom he had for it is about Star Wars, period.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he just can't accept it himself or what the fuck is going on. But
I mean, once you start just blatantly shitting on all of it, at that point you've lost the plot.
Yeah.
You've lost the plot. You're no longer a critic at that point. At that point, you were just hating on the properties.
Yeah. I mean, like, I've said many times that I'm like, I can sometimes get tired of Star Wars, like, being stuck in the same period, right? Like Darth Vader shows up in a lot of things recently, right? But I will never not find something like this really cool, right? Like, as a Star Wars fan, this is just like awesome, right? But it's like he's not really saying anything.
Well,
no, that's it.
Like,
yeah, he's not saying anything at all.
Yeah,
I don't feel like they're shoehorning in any characters in this.
No,
series.
for sure.
Yeah, like
not at all.
Dude, he's literally her fucking her Jedi Master. Like,
exactly. It makes sense to have a little Vader going on in here.
The main, like, one of the main parts of Ahsoka's character after, like, Clone Wars is her regret at what Anakin became, and she blames herself, right? And this scene is really fucking important for letting her, like, forgive herself, right? Except that, like, no matter what, like, she couldn't have stopped what happened to Vader, right? And she should stop blaming herself for it. That's what this whole, like, episode is about.
I mean, you know, you guys are welcome to say whatever you want in defense of him, but if you do it a bunch, I'm probably going to start shitting on you at some point. Because
so if he wants new characters, then why is it they don't like any of the other new stuff that comes out? Why is everything so hated from Star Wars? Like, I have yet to see, other than Andor, which, by the way, I know everybody pretty much loves Andor. I don't remember any masturbation sessions from these channels about Andor. Like, I don't remember 12-hour streams defending how good Andor is. So if they love that kind of stuff so much and they love that type of storytelling, where is all of the praise? They should still be talking about Andor. If Andor was exactly what they wanted with a bunch of new characters, then why are we doing so much content about this instead of talking about the stuff that they really love?
Yeah.
Because at a certain point you have to go, hey, maybe it's not for me. If nostalgia isn't for you, that's fine. But the reality is, if they hadn't put Darth Vader in this series, they would have been complaining that Darth Vader and Anakin was not in the series.
Yeah. But it was like all the new stuff, like the entire High Republic that Disney is creating, they hate, right? They call it woke and everything. A show like The Acolyte, which will be completely new characters that we've never seen in, like, live action. But they hate it, right? And that's mainly because of, like, women, right? It's woke and it's bigotry and all this shit. But they don't like any of the new stuff, right? Even the sequel stuff, and they're doing more with Rey, for example, right? She's a new character. She's not nostalgia.
Ziggy, it's because those are grandfathered in. We've talked about this before. There's a grandfather thing.
Yeah.
You know, Ripley, fucking Sarah Connor.
There's been a study that at a certain age, people, especially males, imprint characters and they become like completely immune to any kind of criticism. And it's usually in your formative years. I have to find the study, but like from 13 to 16, anything that you've experienced at that age group is usually something that you hold on to for the rest of your life.
Look, man, you can just say she wasn't dealing with trauma and, like, but it doesn't make it true. Like, that's maybe you don't recognize what that's like, you know, or how that's depicted on screen or whatever, but that's what they were.
That is exactly what she's dealing with.
Well, here's the deal. Like, so Jaleel, I would actually say that is maybe his complaint. He wants new characters. But here's a clip from a couple minutes later in the video.
Should be incredibly relevant to this whole series, but for some reason we're pretending like this isn't a time where he would be most active in the universe. He would be hell-bent on stopping any Empire loyalists from resurrecting the regime and the war. He's not a worthless, titty-sucking hobo yet.
So wait, does he just want new characters, or does he want more Luke stuff? I'm
right.
What?
Yeah, Jaleel, before you move on to another point, man, can you address why, like, that contradiction right there, man? Since you're, you know, so willing to defend him in chat, I'd like to hear something that makes sense.
But yeah, I just find that absolutely insane. How it's like, okay, we don't want focusing on the same 5 characters, and then oh, this series should really be about Luke, right? Like, or at least have Luke as a major character. Like,
fortunately, that's the only time he contradicts himself in the video. So,
yeah, true. He doesn't contradict himself ever. But famously. But here we got a little clip here of Hera. It's interesting.
Fired for getting 2 men killed while dragging a child into an active war zone on an unsanctioned, batshit crazy mission.
Now, this is such a short clip, but it almost drives me nuts the more you think about it. Number one, active war zone. Now, maybe you could argue it's dangerous, but I'm pretty sure there isn't a war going on during this time period right now. Yeah, it's not a war zone.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Then, like, yeah, so, and then it's where, like, she should lose her commission due to, like, doing this unsanctioned mission.
Like
and what's happening during the next episode?
Well, did he forget to turn on his robot brain? Is that what happened?
Yeah, apparently. It's really an interesting, like, it's almost like, I think DJ's brought this up before, that, like, when you're reviewing a series, like, you have to, like, you can't just judge it without letting the rest of the story play out. Because literally the next episode is about her facing penalties, or not the whole thing, but parts of it are about her facing penalties for doing this shit.
Yeah, so when I do reviews week to week, you have the small episodic questions and you have the season questions. And so an episodic question is something that gets resolved in one episode. Like you ask the question early and then it's answered by the end of the episode. If you have something that goes unanswered in that episode, you can assume it's a series long question and that it'll be answered in the series. And then when the series is over, if they did not adequately answer the question, then it's fair game to criticize that they didn't address it, like my issues with Thrawn. But I don't think it's fair to address series questions in each individual episode because that makes no fucking sense.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? They're not going to give you all the answers in one episode.
And like I said, he had to rush us out between 5 and 6 because episode 6 addresses this point.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, we got one more clip.
The worst of it is the plot. The show is almost entirely plot. Plot, fucking plot. What little character there is amounts to, I'm a general, fuck off. I'm confused, but I like Ezra, fuck off. And finally, I crossed my arms like in the cartoon, now drool for me. For fuck's sake.
So there's a fair bit to go over with this one. So he's complaining about there not being characters, despite the fact that, like, one of the things I like about this series is, especially with Sabine and Ahsoka, especially, like, they have clear and distinct character motivations that, like, align at the beginning, and then they don't ever diverge until the fourth one, where you actually see a clear difference in their motivation.
Also, like, Star Wars being plot driven, I cannot imagine.
Well, also keep in mind, this is him criticizing episode 5.
Yeah.
The character, the episode that kind of takes a lot of time out for Ahsoka.
Yeah, like the character that, or the episode that spends the most time just focusing on a character and their internal struggle.
Yeah.
We've been accused of not presenting evidence with what we're saying about Mauler, so if we could just present some evidence, then that'd be better, I think. I don't know what that means.
Maybe we could show some clips of his at the show. I don't know.
I mean, we're talking about movie opinions, man. Like, and we're talking about an analysis of someone else's movie opinions. I don't know what evidence you want. You know,
we're supposed to do a thorough investigation of 25,000 hours of video to find out exactly what we're talking about.
And the
25,000 hours, so one video.
Yeah.
And the reason we're like pointing out the flaws in his review, right? This is not something I would just do to anyone, right?
Yeah.
Like if someone just uploaded their review about Ahsoka and they had things that I disagreed with, I'd be like, fine, right? We're talking about Mauler, a guy who has spent a lot of time, right, focusing on this whole objectivity thing, right? It's like you can objectively review a movie, right? And there are certain like you know, he spent so much time shitting on him and his friends shitting on other content creators for making their own reviews, right? And we're just showing that his own videos are incredibly inconsistent as well.
Yes.
And they don't really make much sense when he has made a career out of kind of shitting on people's movie opinions.
Yeah, no, that's one of the biggest things he likes to do. He's done it to me. He's done it to Pillar of Garbage. He's done it to Brown Table. He's done it to Patrick H. Willems. He's done it to Jack Saint. He's done it.
Also, I want to point out,
Bob.
Bob, you mentioned this earlier. I think TV reviews and movie reviews have to be done in a completely different way. You can't review them the same. And the thing about it is that Mauler and a lot of these channels are known for doing mostly movie reviews. So when they come in, they review a TV show based on a movie or something like that. And they start to review it in the same way they would review a movie. It becomes very clear that they're not letting the story happen. You have to, you have to wait for the whole season to finish before you can imply a movie style review to something. It's just very irresponsible to expect a show to answer every question presented to you in the first or second episode.
Yeah.
Or to see a character story arc happen in like 3 episodes. It doesn't make sense.
Mika, there was a lot of new stuff in this show. Like there was some familiar stuff, and there was actually a lot of new stuff too. Like I don't understand this black and white thinking that there was just,
No, this series actually sets up like a new period for Star Wars, a new conflict arising.
I also want to point out the people that I know that watched it, these are almost all new characters to them.
Yeah.
They don't know these characters. Like Sabine, Ezra, Thrawn, these people, these characters are basically new for anyone that did not watch the cartoons.
Yeah.
So Joshua, okay, let me ask this question here. Please think about it carefully, answer it. Why does it make sense, or why should she have called Luke? And Luke definitely should have been in the show because he was so active at the time, but it was wrong for them to include anything about Vader, who was her Jedi master. What's the deal with that?
Why is it wrong for Luke to have movies that include his Jedi Master, but Ahsoka to not include her Jedi Master? Why is that? Why is there an issue with one but not the other?
I mean, the whole thing about not wanting Anakin there for an Ahsoka show just makes absolutely no fucking sense.
Yeah,
that's just stupid. Like their characters very interlinked.
That's the problem.
We know.
Yeah.
That's the fucking problem. That's what I've just been saying. Complaining about a series-long question not being addressed or answered before the series is over is stupid as fuck.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I know back when I used to do more concentrate edited video essay stuff, lots of people wanted me to cover series, and I would, but I would only cover the series once a season was out. I'm not going to cover each episode week by week because it's a part of the story, and I can, but
and it's fine for people
different.
to do that, right? But I often see this like if you're doing it episode wise, it's like reacting, right? Like you can still review it, right? But it's like this is your reaction to this episode, right? But if you want to do a full review, it makes sense to do it after the season because that's the story. That's it's like there may be multiple seasons, right? But that's one coherent story that's been told.
Hopefully. And Dane, you were going to say something. I don't want to cut you off. I know you were about to say something.
I forgot what it was.
Okay. I want to say this. If you're reviewing a show week to week, as someone that has been doing it for almost a decade, the best way to review a show week to week and have people take your word for it and really listen to what you have to say is you review characters. You review the characters and what they're doing in the episode, how they're reacting to things in the episode, stuff that happens within the episode. Reviewing week to week and getting mad because something that you want to happen in that episode not happening before the series is done makes you look really stupid if they actually do answer it 2 episodes later. Trust me, I know. I used to do this. If you say something like, I can't believe that this character didn't do XYZ, and then the very next episode they do it, you're like, oh shit, why did I complain about it so early? There are season-long questions that got addressed in the finale of Ahsoka that they were complaining about in the 3rd episode. And the only time I think it's fair to criticize the whole season in a review is if you're somebody that gets the early the first 4 episodes and you have to write a review on those 4 episodes to put up on whatever your website is or something like that. I give you a pass on that, but even those do not they don't get mad when questions aren't answered in the first 4 episodes because they know there's a whole season of episodes to watch.
Absolutely.
I remember what I was going to say. It's if you're going to be honest, as honest as possible, and you're actually going to let the story play out. Really, the most you can do, right? Most I was able to do whenever I tried it. I think it was Loki season 1. I did videos on the first 2 episodes, And just by the second one, I found myself like, yeah, I'm just gonna have to wait and see, and like a bunch of that. It's really like this looks cool. This is really well done. Like the sets are cool, the costumes are cool. It's all well done visually, but like just gotta wait and see.
Yeah.
So that's really all that you can do.
Well, yeah. Like you can cover like something like TNG episode by episode because those are almost always like contained stuff. But
yeah, I love covering bottle episodes. Bottle episodes are great because then you can just cover what happens in that episode.
What are you clearly talking about, Mika? That's what the fuck are you talking about?
Clearly Ahsoka had almost no bottle episodes this season. It was almost all story, like season-long plot. Because they don't have a lot of filler. Basically, bottle/filler episodes happen in shows that have like 13 plus episodes of a season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you don't have time to do that. But like the old Star Trek show season used to be like 21 to 23 episodes a season. So yeah, I mean there was a lot. So you had plenty of time for bottle episodes. This one you don't, which is why if you have an issue with the story, wait to the end to see what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Unless the character gets killed off in that episode, like when we lost Merrick in the middle of the series. Okay, fair enough. We can talk about that character. Like that's fine. They're gone. You know what I mean? But I think any other character that's still got story going, you have to wait and see where the story goes. I can only imagine these people reviewing Lost when it was back on every single week and how that would have played out for them.
But yeah, it's bad takes in this video, and I haven't even covered what I think is the worst take here, and I didn't have time to find clips. But you know what? My coverage of this is coming out fairly soon. But throughout this video, it's a lot of Mauler coping with the fact that people like this series. It's a lot of clips of people going, "Ooh, I really like this. Ooh, this was cool," and him going, "Oh my god, how dare people like this?" And that's the issue. Like, I think it's good to break down these elements more than maybe even those ones, because that's Mauler's thing. Like, I'm objective. If you disagree with me, you're wrong, and that's not a good way to handle this at all.
If something is objectively bad, you don't have to convince people that it is. Do they not understand that? If something is objectively bad, then you would have 0 people making videos saying they love it if it's objectively bad.
As I
period. Like you don't have to convince people that something is bad if it's bad. If it is, then it just is. Look on Rotten Tomatoes and see some of the scores there. There are movies that like 95% of people hate. Those things you could say, you could even argue maybe those are objectively bad, but even those have some people that love it.
Yeah.
When it comes to art, it's almost impossible for something to be objectively good or bad.
Yeah, it's all subjective. All subjective.
I think Shawshank Redemption is a fantastic movie, right? To me, it's one of the most perfect movies of all time. Agreed. But there are people out there who think it is boring and that it fails as a movie for them, right?
Psychopaths. Fucking psychopath.
Yeah. Objectively, they
are.
That's an objective thing. Dane just said objectively that is what they are.
Yeah, and it's like, and we can sit here being like really, like you don't like this movie did nothing for you, right? But it's like that's a person's worldview, right? Like that's how they view the movie, and for them, it is not a great movie.
This is a fucking take, man.
There's an entire clip of him doing that that's circulating right now on social media.
He stops misinformation.
What
the fuck are you talking about, dude?
So he's fighting the good fight. That's what he's doing. He's fighting.
They do think of themselves that way. They think that they're like the noble warriors for fandom. Like they're by doing what they're doing, that they're demanding better quality. And it's just like,
I am saving the world from enjoying a TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I will save it all.
Because that's the important stuff that's happening right now. Yeah. That's the most important thing in the world at the moment.
Yeah,
naturally. Let's see. Do we want to go into some strike stuff?
Sure.
Because I mean, there's not much strike stuff.
Hold on, wait. Before we move on, did this really happen? They covered something about art being subjective a few weeks ago. They don't agree that all art is subjective. Did that really happen? Wow.
That would look like. If they're actually trying to make a case that not all art is subjective, I kind of.
That's
if you have 100 people and only one of them disagrees, then immediately it becomes subjective.
Yeah. Like the whole objectivity versus subjectivity debate in just like a theoretical thing can go so far, right? It even goes to the point that like nothing is objective, right? Because all humans. Like no human can fully 100% remove their own bias, right? So everything that we as humans perceive will be subjective, right? Even things like math and gravity and stuff like this, right? There's the argument that none of this is objective, right? That it's all subjective because it's humans who understand it, right? And we are subjective creatures. However, there's also the more like laid back like argument where it's like there are things that we understand, right? Where it's like, right, we may not truly understand what gravity is, right? But things fall down, right? Like that's just that's the thing that happens even if humans aren't here, right? A pine tree is a pine tree, right? It becomes a Christmas tree because we understand it as that, right? We have social everything, like we've made it that, but it's still a thing without humans. Art is 100% created by humans.
So these things are different than other things. And like art is you can but look at a movie or whatever and say that's a movie, this actor is in it or whatever, but like your interpretation of the mood of it, the storytelling, all things like that, those are not objective things you can measure.
Dumb and Dumber, you're actually living up to your name with this comment here, actually.
Dumb and Doomer.
Yeah. Yes, you could say that that Rosario Dawson played Ahsoka. That is a fact. That is an objective thing. However, whether or not she is good in that role becomes a subjective opinion.
Yeah. Like an objective movie review is literally just, this movie is directed by Christopher Nolan.
Josh, did you just come here to just repeat what Mauler said, man? Because like, that's pretty fucking stupid.
Is this a Mauler sock account? Mauler, we love you. Come on in. Just drop
it. Come talk to us. Come on, talk. Stop hiding. Stop hiding.
Don't worry. He hasn't written Unbridled.
I'd love for you to explain to me how something can be objective, but then people disagree with you on it.
Well, if art is subjective, then why do we complain about Isom?
Because I think it's a bad comic book.
Like Isom?
You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to agree with me.
Yeah.
You can love Isom. I don't.
I've never said that people can't disagree with me about whether or not they love a comic book. I've never said that.
I mean, I have, but
I mean, there are. Yes. I believe there are people
Dumb and
who
Dumber is the one perfect
completely just believe that Isom is a fantastic comic, and all the power to them, right? But like, I mean, I've never read it, but like, you guys don't think it's a good comic, right? Right? And there are other reasons why we call out something like Isom, and it has everything to do with Eric July.
I think Isom is a bad comic. I think issues 1 and 2 are really, really bad. However, if you want to spend money on it because you think it's great, then that's your money. Spend it however you want. I don't care.
Yeah. And the reason we talk about Isom a lot is because it's from Eric July, right? If it was just another indie comic from someone, we would never shit on it.
Speaking of which, before we move on to the proper segment here, I got this here.
So a lot of y'all ask me, Derek, how do you harvest so much money from kids when you can't write? Well, I mean, I don't have a single skill or talent at all. I just shout at kids and pretend that I do.
I don't know. It's fun.
Is that actually his voice?
No, that's the Rippaverse.
It sounds a lot like him, but it's obviously
okay. So what I've heard is I don't know if this is true or not. Again, this is all alleged, but on the great website Twitter, people have said that it sounds like they fed his voice into an AI system and then used that to make him say stuff. Okay. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I've heard.
Well, it's a brand new channel. They've got 2 videos up. They've got one about Az and the current day thing, Meltdown, and then that one, and it's both puppets. And they seem to be somebody that knows how to make decent puppets, and then apparently can do convincing voices and jokes.
So here's my thing about this whole objective subjective thing. If somebody has to convince you that something is objective, then it's not. What part of that do we not understand? And I'm not saying this about you, Faye.
Objective?
Yeah. So Faye, this is not directed towards you, but if we argue about whether something is good or bad, it immediately is not objective. That's why it doesn't make sense to me that people want to argue that something is objective. Like, we all die. So are we going to argue that that's not true? No, because that is an objective fact.
Yeah.
The fact that you have to argue that something is objective automatically means that it isn't.
Josh doesn't get it. He doesn't get it.
Oh my God!
I've said it before. I'll say it again. I think that this thing is objective. It's objectively bad, and and you're wrong for thinking it's good. That is a fucking cope, and it's an insecure cope. It's literally building up a fucking armor around yourself because you're so insecure about your opinions. You can't fucking stand the fact that somebody thinks something different than you. Mm-hmm. So you have to say it's objective so that you can look down on that person because that's the only way you can fucking cope.
Yeah, like I've seen a person on. Like there are people on Twitter that I see arguing a lot, and one of the main things, like they'll post a movie, right, and they'll be like, "I love this movie. This movie is so enjoyable to me, but it's objectively bad, and here's why." I'm like,
yes. Yeah, but I will always say that I love something that's divisive, or I love something that most people don't like, or I love something that most people would say are bad or whatever. I will never say that I love something that is objectively bad. That doesn't make any sense.
It's like
pure cope.
Maybe.
There are things where I'm like, yeah, this is, even when I say like this is not good, but I like it either way, right? What I'm really saying is that I understand that a lot of people don't like it, and I can get the reasons, but I just don't agree.
Yeah,
that's the main thing, right? Like I like this movie anyway.
The other thing is, how boring is it to have a quote unquote debate or conversation with someone who believes that art is objective? How do you even have a conversation with someone who feels that way? Because they immediately put themselves up on a pedestal, so nothing you say can matter to them because they're just going to be, oh no, it's objectively bad. You're just coping or whatever. With the fact that you like something that's bad, and it's like, what?
And also,
how do you have a conversation with that?
Imagine how boring just like entertainment in general would be if everyone thought this way, right? That everything is just objective. Then there is no opinions, there is no debate, there is no conversations. I love talking to other fans of stuff, and then like I hear like, oh, you actually like that Star Wars movie that I don't like. Why, right? It's not like, oh, you're wrong, but it's just like, like I don't like it, but you like it.
That's where the interesting conversation is in that.
That's what's fun.
Yeah.
If it's just like, oh, I like this one because it's objectively the best.
Also, I want to point out, if there was some algorithm that could extrapolate objectively good, objectively bad art, why would multi-billion-dollar companies put out stuff that they know is bad?
Right?
Why also, would they do that?
So, Ziggy, all right. One part of this is that many of the things that I've seen Mauler and EFAP and other people claim is like an objective logical inconsistency really has more to do with them like not understanding things and thinking that they're fucking just, the smartest guys around. And, like, so they just go, and honestly, my read of Mauler is that he sounds like a fucking spoiled young dude who hasn't had a lot of life experience, and yet he thinks he fucking knows everything. So like a lot of the stuff that he's wrong about, or he doesn't take into consideration whenever he's, criticizing a narrative, are things that like you kind of have to just experience life a little bit more than it seems like he has to understand these things. What there was the thing that where was it with Terriers or whatever, where he said they were criticizing the judge laughing at a joke that the guy made about
well, what it was the guy just made a joke while he was under oath, and they're like, oh, that's perjury. It's like, no, it's not. It was an obvious joke. Like he was asked what he put out on his tax forms, and he said he sells seashells by the seashore. Obvious joke. Nobody's going to take it seriously. Lawyers are going to say, now seriously, what's your answer?
They didn't they didn't understand that there are underwater welders. They literally, after watching Wakanda Forever, they were like, how do they build stuff underwater?
No, I'll just, for me, I always go back to, if you're going to argue that these companies are all about pandering to make money, but then you argue that they put out objectively bad stuff that is known to be bad, then you're arguing against your own fucking accusation.
Yeah. And also just like the whole logical consistency thing, right? Like I see people who are like, oh, but stuff like logic is objective, right? And like these certain things about movies. But even if it was so, and like everyone could just agree, like, yes, this movie logic, it makes perfect sense, right? That's still just one part of a movie, right? Yes. And that can be completely irrelevant to someone.
Apply logic to everything, everywhere, all at once. Apply logic to that movie. It's a surrealistic art house film. There's no logic to apply.
Malick film.
Like sometimes a movie being good has nothing to do with like its logical consistency, right?
What about a Wes Anderson movie? Those movies are fucking wild as shit too. Like, how do you?
Yeah.
So, Jaleel,
if there's a plot hole, then something's just objectively bad.
So Jaleel says he believes that hell, I like The Force Awakens. Most people think it's a bad movie. Is that right?
No.
No, actually,
Is
most
that
people
accurate?
like The Force Awakens. Including me.
The majority of people think it's a
really funny to me.
like,
People
movie.
defend stuff by the amount of money it makes until it's a movie they don't want to be good. Then they're like, oh, wait, no, never mind. Because those movies made over, I think, $4 billion for Star Wars or Lucas and Disney.
Yeah.
Is that most people saying that it's not a good movie? That's weird.
Yeah, 85% is a terrible score.
I mean, that's basically 0.
I mean, that's like a B on a paper. That's garbage. Just throw that out. You failed.
Yeah.
So I mean, Ison was brought up. Are we ready to dive into Eric July?
Yeah, we can do it. Why not?
Wait, I just have one last thing for the objectivity thing.
Okay, go ahead.
And that's just like I'm fine that it can also be fun to try and be more objective in the way you look at something, because being objective means that you remove your bias, right? And it can be fun, right? To be like, okay, if I didn't have these certain preferences, all right, if I tried to be objective, how could I view this? But you still need the acknowledgement that you will never, ever be objective. Like, you can never remove your own bias.
True.
Things.
True.
It can be fun, right? To have this whole let's try to be objective about this, but know that you can't.
Just to build on that, we bring our fucking our perspectives, which are formed by our specific subjective experiences, into everything that we do. So when we go into a movie, we all may have general pop culture commonalities, like movies we've seen, so we understand certain tropes and stuff like that. But the specifics of everybody's life is different, and so if you've had some type of experience that has shaped you as a human being, you might connect with something in a movie that other people might not. And then, those people that don't connect with it might go, oh, it's boring, the characters suck. And meanwhile, you got somebody over here that's like, that fucking resonated with me because I had this fucking experience in my life. Exactly. And you don't get to say that person's experience is invalid just because you don't fucking understand it. You're just being an entitled kind of shithead at that point.
No human being is the complete same. We are all unique in some way. Often, most of the time, many different ways, right? And yeah, like Dane said, that shapes how we experience things. And all of that is valid, right? None of that is objective.
True.
All right.
Awesome. All right.
You mentioned Eric July.
Put a bookend on that one. Put a bookend on that one.
Yeah. Old Turf nailed it. You guys all nailed it. I'm just sitting here posting clips. So Eric July had a bad week. So first of all, there was this video that came out. I'll go ahead and play the video. It's
bad couple weeks at this point, right? Bad 2 weeks.
It's not going great. But
do you think this falls under the category of Chudpocalypse, or it kind of seems like
I think it could. I feel like it does. I feel like he's imploding at this point.
Yeah, it's been great.
Y'all really bought that shit butt ass comic book. I'm crying.
Yeah. But anyways, this made the rounds, and I think it might have even come out before the last episode, but I didn't really cover it because I just think this is dumb, but it's relevant now. So we'll go over this real fast.
Ignore those super chats, you son of a bitch.
So is he drawing bunnies on those bills?
Yeah.
Eric keeps ignoring my super chats, so I brought him $50. I also vandalized his building with these stickers. We'll see what he has to say about that.
So weird.
This guy's
I know.
Sigma male.
I mean, this is next level internet 4chan real life troll shit is what this is.
It's he's putting money on his window, and I'm like, if I were running a business and somebody stuck money to my window, I'd be like, oh, thank you.
But he's drawing shit on it.
Oh, he's drawn shit on it. Well,
yeah.
Oh no.
This was weird to me. Honestly, out of all the things that I thought would ever happen with this Eric July drama, this was not. I would have never ever thought of this. This is beyond anything that we've dealt with online with these guys.
It's just, it's dumb. It's I just don't get it.
I don't condone ever doing this. Like, there's a lot of danger involved with this. You know, going up to somebody's business and doing this kind of stuff. So to me, it's like, it's trolly, and it may be on brand for this. I don't know a lot about this Riley guy, to be honest. So I have no idea. Maybe it's on brand for him to do shit like this, because I know he got banned from Twitter for doing something. Who knows what it is? I think it was he part of the DMCA stuff that happened? Wasn't that what it was? The Rippaverse?
Yeah, he was one. He was one of the ones that was DMCA'd along with me and a few others.
Right. Yeah. So, but my takeaway on this is like this. What is this lolcow behavior? I don't know if this is considered lolcow behavior or not, but I would say do not go to someone's business and do this kind of shit, even if it's for the lulz, because you're putting yourself in a lot of danger, and you're going to make them. You're giving them a win by doing something like this. So
yeah, I mean, I don't even know what the point is. The worst thing that's going to happen is now whoever's working at this Rippaverse place got like $50 on that one,
and it's like advertising.
True. Yeah, exactly. Like there's no point to this. But anyways, obviously Eric blew up about this, and you know, he said,
I have an ignorant question from a person who doesn't really understand America too much. Is this? Could he get shot for this? Like, would that be illegal?
No, so that was actually kind of the crux of what
going to cover this. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So Eric says that, like, you know, if he does something like this again, we'll shoot you. You know.
No, we said air him out. He said air him out.
Air you out. Yeah.
Keep in mind that Eric July is very specific about the language he uses. He said air him out.
Yes, he is.
Or they will. What was it? He said something like we'll what was the term? Some legalese or whatever. But air him out is the term he used the most when he talked about this.
They were talking about castle doctrine in Texas, which is
act accordingly. Act accordingly was another thing that he said as well. So
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially he was saying because it's at night, because it's well lit, but you can tell it's at night. Eric July is trying to say he's trespassing. Which, yeah,
that's what I was like.
I want to point out something here quickly before we move on, though. They talked about this vandalism in the legal term is something that you have to pay to have someone remove. So if they were able to pull those dollars off or whatever those bills are off the window without anything left behind, they would have to prove that they had to call in a company to clean or remove it. I mean, that's how vandalism is classified.
The worst thing that would happen with that is like you have to get some goo gone on it, and I'm sure the $50 he puts on the window
it covers it. Yeah, a judge would throw that shit out, dude.
Yeah, he would say he said he put money on your window that covered the cost of removal, so there's nothing there. But yeah, vandalism is really it's a pretty easy thing to win in court if it's actual vandalism. I don't know if this would 100% be classified as vandalism.
I mean, at the end of the day, my take on this is that it's dumb. That's it.
Yeah. I know he says it, but he's also saying it in satire. He's saying it as a joke in the video because I think he realized you could just pull him right off the window. So.
But anyways, yeah. So Eric July went to Rikita Law to discuss this stuff, and it's hilarious watching these two exchange because I mean, if you know who Nick Rikita is, he's essentially a Comicsgate lawyer, but like he is a lawyer, so he's going to be careful with his language, and he actually understands how the language is used. And Eric, just with his ego, just can't help but bludge himself in there because Nick actually gives him opportunities to kind of bail, and he keeps pushing. So Nick dives in, and here's just a great moment going over this scene.
You said at first that there was a gate on one side, but the other side didn't have a gate, and there was a driveway from the road.
So real quick context, Eric was arguing that he was trespassing.
Put into it.
Correct. That side is still the same, but what I mean, you have to see it is what it is that I'm saying.
You have a picture?
The other, I'm certainly not showing it online. I do have one for sure. And I'm sure.
Can you privately send it to me? I won't pull it up. Can you message it to me?
I guess, yeah. But I'm gonna explain how it is that it is. Yes, sure. Nick, you can get to it from the road, and there's no gate there. What I'm saying is the only other way to get in is a gate on the opposite side. So for example, our building is at the end of this lot. If you want to call it that, you can get out during that lot, but there are two gates on both sides, right? That's the only way you can get in, and the only way you can get out without driving through the side that the idiot came from, right?
But
that's what I'm saying.
I know, but this is so confusing because you're saying there's gates on either side.
Yes.
But then you're saying that he drove through another side and got in.
So look at it like 3 sides because there's nothing but fencing on the other on one side, right? So you have
one
a
side.
fence. Look at it like this.
One
you got
side.
a fence.
Yeah, no, he's saying it's gated in, but like he didn't drive on the side of the gate. So what's the relevance of the fucking gate at that point?
Right, and then on opposite sides of that fence, right, is our building, right? You can get out, so get on the street, do whatever you need to do. There are 2 sides. If you went left or if you went right, there are gates on both sides. There is only one way if you're not entering through that gate to get into where our building is. Not everybody else's building. To get into where our building is, there's only one way to get in, not using those 2 gates.
So there's a way to get in without using the gate.
Correct.
Okay, but yeah, like you see the issue there, right? That there is a publicly accessible way in without a gate.
Issue as far as what?
I mean, okay, so you can have, if you have 3 entrances and 2 gates, and one of them is just an ungated entrance to a public road, that's not fenced in. That's not gated.
I don't understand it. But I'm saying, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean as far as with the issue? I'm like, I'm not understanding what it is.
Because that means it's not blocked off. People can get into the property.
Literally, like anyone can drive up and.
I don't believe that Eric is this dumb. I'm sorry, I just can't believe this. You have 3 ways to get into this property. Only 2 of them have gates on them.
Yeah, it's insane, and like apparently he's not using the one that requires a gate. But
if you can drive in from a public road, I'm having trouble seeing it as private. Is all. That's
all right. So now it's more of a I guess semantics, or you want to argue illegal. I'm not saying
trying
that
to understand, man.
I'm not
trespassing is a legal
argument
term.
that you can't get there. Like anybody can't just drive up into the let's say, to get to our building. That's not the argument I'm making. The only position it is that I have is that our building, as far as accessing it and being in there, like anywhere near there, the only reason why someone would need to be there is if they were invited there.
Or they just drove into the driveway.
Yeah, you just drove into. When I'm talking about
but you don't need an invitation to drive into the driveway, right?
No, you don't need an invitation to drive into the driveway. What I'm saying is there's no reason for someone to be there. I think there's been some confusion because some people maybe saw like a logo on the side or something. They thought it was a storefront that was facing the store. It's not.
Oh no, I don't think it's a storefront.
Well, I'm just making the case, but that's what I mean, and that's the point of contention, Nick. When I'm saying like, hey, it's not this guy showed up to a place that is a private location,
but it's not
our public address. There's no reason for there to be commerce or anything as far as
there
doing
to do
business
commerce. He wasn't
with
there to buy
other
things.
people. There's no you can't even get into our actual building without either keypad access or what have you. That's the only way you can get inside our actual building.
Did he go in the building?
No, he didn't go in it.
Okay,
he wouldn't have been able to get in there. Yeah.
On the open side that he would have had to drive through to get in, because obviously he doesn't have the gate key. And you said, I think you said he drove in from that open side, right? Is there like a sign that says no access or private property or anything like that? No trespassing. Is there any clear posting that would indicate to someone they can't come in there?
No.
Okay, you're on real shaky ground saying it's private then, man. Like legally.
Right. Again, you're using private in a context that I'm not using it in. So I'm okay with you using
mine's,
it.
What other mine's the legal context because I'm answering legal questions. That's all.
Yeah, he's gone to like a lawyer.
Yeah, he's like.
Of course, he's going to talk about it in legal terms.
What other context is private used in a different way?
Yeah, he's talking to a lawyer, and the lawyer's like, "Dude, I'm using it legally. What context do you want me to use it in?"
It's either public property or private property. That's the two things it could be. And he's not the only person. That warehouse is in a area with a bunch of warehouses, meaning that even if the guy was there in front of his warehouse, there's other businesses in that area, in that same center that he's in.
Yeah.
And the way trespassing works in the United States is there's 2 ways you can handle trespassing. You can have a sign that says no trespassing, which means that it is stated that you are not supposed to be there, right? That's one way. Or you can be trespassed if you're somewhere and they tell you to leave, then you have been told that you have to leave, which it's not in this clip, but no one even talked to Riley. So he wasn't told to leave. So he was not trespassed at all.
Exactly. Yeah, no, there's a lot to unpack for this debate. We got a few clips, but yeah, it's insane.
Fucking with someone's business.
Can you answer the question? Yeah,
no, I don't think that's fucking with someone's business.
All right, so
I
you
don't see
think
that the
trying to
same way.
instigate someone-
So here, like, this is just talk about Dick and Vito, pretty much shit talking Eric July. You know that thing that Eric July does to everybody.
Fucking with someone's business is
he's calling it
the
fucking
legal
with someone's
term.
business.
That's the legal term.
Apparently,
he's using.
yeah. If you watch this, also like a Karen, I believe is a legal term.
Yeah.
Into a lawsuit is fucking with someone's business.
You're already in the lawsuit.
I understand that, but he's trying to instigate them into continuing it on because as the specific message that he responded to is the guy saying that, well, we don't want to go to court, yada yada yada, and that's, you know, whatever, that is what it is. He's specifically saying that he wants him to consider X, Y, and Z. You don't consider your partner, like a Karen, contacting the CEO trying to instigate a lawsuit trying to fuck with someone's business.
Did you accuse him of starting that lawsuit?
No.
Prior to him tweeting that?
No.
No?
No.
He made a video accusing them of it, or
He
at
made
least
2
strongly
videos.
implying it.
2. He did that one.
I think only one of them came out after, and I think.
Well, yeah, but he also did a live stream that same day where he talked.
Oh, he did a live stream.
The
Okay.
video, yeah.
And I stand corrected.
You didn't say that he and Vito were behind that?
No.
I think your timeline might be off on that one, brother.
No, I think your timeline might be off on that one because if you
Very
watch
well
my video,
could be.
I never make a all I did was connect that specific email to them, the person that emailed to them. Correct.
Right. So prior to him tweeting the people,
correct,
right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so my timeline's not off.
No, your timeline is off. As in you're saying you're claiming that I said
my name.
No. You're trying to you're making a claim that I explicitly stated that. I wouldn't be so foolish as to do that.
So Dick and Vito didn't do this then.
I don't know.
You don't know now.
No, I don't know. Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Potentially. Nonetheless,
you're gonna sit here. You're gonna sit here and honestly fucking say maybe now.
That's
like you don't know.
Yeah, it's wild.
So let me explain why this is so dumb to me. What was the point of the video then? If you were not trying to connect them to the email that made the accusations, then what was the point of that video? And saying that there was more evidence, because he said that in the video. We have more evidence and our people are looking into it. We're not going to talk about that right now or whatever. So here we are like a month later, a month and a half later, and now he's saying that maybe they did it. So was he lying about having more evidence? And why did he make a video sort of connecting the dots? Talking about like the email posted this was the charity thing. This was connected to this person. This was the name that they use here. What was the point of the CSI video if he wasn't implicating them in being behind all of this?
It's a good damn question. It's almost like Eric July talks out of his ass a lot. I don't know. But here we got here's the most damaging clip, and then the other ones are a bit shorter, but this one is bad.
$17.
That was
so they're talking about the charity, and like he did this charity run for ISIM number 2. Essentially it was like you can pay full price for ISIM and we'll send a copy to a charity for essentially half price.
Well, let me say this.
Was delivering a book to the charity $17? I didn't want to ask these questions, Eric. Was delivering a book to the charity $17?
That was the cost, and I'm explaining it to you. That was the cost associated with operating. That included the sales of that included this.
I want to pause that. That's where he says that. Keep that in mind. He says that was the cost. That was Eric's words, and he's going to give a little breakdown here. But keep that in mind because this is a longer clip, and that will come back when Nick asks him later. So remember that part.
Sale of the actual physical book and all the operations associated with, because we had to pack, we had to bag and board, we had to ship it, we had to palletize all of these orders, and we had to send those out. And it doesn't even fucking matter. You know why, Nick? Because we gave them money.
I agree.
Okay, I want to ask a question, and maybe you guys know this. I heard that you cannot include labor and time in a cost for a charity item. Is that true?
I can look into it right now.
I believe you can.
I've heard that charity
you just
has
have
to
to have records of it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's true or not, but someone said during the stream, and I remember watching it, that labor costs cannot be factored into the value of an item that is being donated to charity. I don't know if that's true or not, but
I've never heard that if that's true. But.
With you.
So why is that even a question?
because I trust you doesn't mean everybody else on earth is required to trust you,
That's
right?
not
true.
No,
True.
I'm not saying that everybody is required to trust me by any means. What it is that I am saying is that we gave them as a company, we gave them money, right?
Yes.
The 17 that we charged them. By the way, it was not just $17, and I wish people would say that. That was not the average cost of the book.
What was the average cost?
The average cost, the average cost, I think, came out to something closer to like $13 or so because we offered it in bundles. So the more money.
So apparently the charity has to be a certain type of approved charity, a qualified charity with the IRS in order to deduct costs like that.
So Avenger, let me point out my experience with charities, because as a DJ, I go and provide service for everyone. Once I put a value on that, I can't change that value. Meaning if I say I'm doing $500 worth of work as charity work. Mm-hmm. I can't go to another charity and say that I'm doing the same amount of work for $300 worth of value. It has to be the same. As far as I know, every time I've done charity, they're like, you have to put a net amount on it. That has to be you can't switch those numbers around if you're doing something for charity, which I think is part of the question here about the price of the comic. I don't know if that's true or not, but.
And I don't know if a comic book donation thing, who knows, maybe they're qualified. I don't know.
And look, I'm not the one who ever accused. I've never accused him of doing anything fraudulent. I'm just very interested in all of this. I'm very curious to see where this all goes.
I've said since the thing was announced that there's something weird about it, and I have no idea
seems fishy,
what it is. 100%. But there's something fucking weird about it.
Yeah, it does seem fishy, but I'm not gonna say 100% that he's doing anything wrong. I have no clue. So,
is that they got? I don't know. Is there something that was confusing right there, Nick?
I didn't want to ask you these questions, man. Did you solicit a charitable donation for a book for $17 and the actual cost was $13?
That's not what it is that I said. I'm saying that's the
average. What you said. No. That's why I didn't want to ask these questions.
Okay, no. I am specifically referencing. It's like you heard nothing. It was that I said. I'm specifically referencing how much on average that the customer paid for. It was not $17.
Okay, so I'm trying to figure this out. See, does it cost $17 to ship one book to the charity? Yes or no?
We didn't ship just one book to the charity. So
I didn't
no.
Ask if you did.
So no. Okay.
Those were the costs. Where's the other $4 going?
Get new lawyers.
What?
Get new lawyers.
Okay.
I mean, look, here's the deal. They shipped all of the books on the same pallet. That's the problem. All those books went on the same pallet. So when he was offering a deal for a bundle of books to go down to $13, but then charging some people $17, there's a $4 difference there in shipping cost when they're all going on the same pallet. Exactly. I think that's the question. I think that's the big question about all this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he could be, that's the thing. Like, is he pocketing it? Is he donating it? If he's donating it, then okay, you're cool. You better have receipts then.
The reality is that Nick wasn't even really asking about this. This is something that he brought up himself.
Yeah, this whole debate is like Nick almost especially at the beginning, you see Nick's giving him options to kind of it's not actual legal, but I'll make it sound legal. Yeah. And then Eric just pushes it until it becomes this debate. And
Nick actually says in this video that he's a lawyer on a charity board. He's been on a charity board for years. Yeah. So he understands charity work. That's one of the things he does.
Mm-hmm. And then this next clip comes a bit later after this. It's a much shorter clip, but this clip, what they're saying is less important, but the body language just says fucking everything. And I love it.
Here's what you charge. If someone clicks that button, they pay you $17, right?
No, that's not what happened. If they got most people got multiple books, Nick.
I know, but if the person who clicked on the $17 one book thing, they got
for that individual item, yes.
Then that's what you say.
No,
you don't have to explain all that other shit.
All that other stuff is public, so and it's not. I mean, it's not me saying, hey guys, apparently it is incriminating. I shouldn't tell you that when it was live. If you bought more books, that meant that the book cost less when you bought it. Thanks, Nick. I appreciate you. I know it's making you uncomfortable. I'll go ahead and I will stop talking on that.
Yeah, maybe stop incriminating yourself. Yeah, no, I just love. Let's see.
I mean, look, for his sake,
Like
I hope
fish
the people that he has working for him, I hope they've dotted their I's and crossed their T's on this, because it does sound from the outside very fishy to me.
It sounds like he's taking $4 from each book. It really does.
Yeah, so look, I don't think it's a good idea ever to do it the way he did it. The way I would do it if I were a business owner is either I would pledge to donate a certain amount of comics to this charity without taking any money from anyone, or use my website to redirect people to make donations to the charity itself. This idea of charging them for a comic and then doing that donation and then also donating money is so convoluted and mixed up. I don't know why that's the path they took, to be honest.
I mean, if he wanted to, he could have just done a thing, say, hey, guys, get extra copies of Isom. For every copy of Isom you buy, I'll give a copy to a charity.
Exactly. Then there would be no question, because you're not actually paying for that extra comic.
Yeah. The way he's doing it is so wonky. And then here's just a little bit of Nick responding to Eric real fast, and then we'll get to the newest stuff that's come up.
And people don't seem to realize this, because apparently there are other practicing lawyers or something. If you inform, let's be very clear on this. If Dick or Vito or me or anybody were to contact this ministry and say, hey, someone's infringing on your trademark, that's not illegal. That's not tortious interference. That's nothing. There's no crime. There's nothing. I think that's a shitty thing to do. Literally, that's it. Most people don't think that's a shitty thing to do unless the person it's being done to is someone they like. Most people are not objective on that. I just think it's a shitty thing to do. I think people should just make their business, whatever. If Dick just told me I did that, I'd say, dude, that was fucking shitty. Why are you such an asshole? Like, trolling is one thing. That's shitty. I just say it. I don't. He doesn't fucking care. And it wouldn't harm me to say that. It would probably help. All right? So talk to Dick about this a million times. But I'm not going to condemn someone for something that I don't believe they did. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's him just breaking down that
Also,
it's not illegal to tell him about the trademark. Go ahead, Ed.
Yeah, I also want to point out that this is a prime example of trying to apply internet culture to the real world. Because a lot of this stuff, like the Karen and fucking with the business and all that, these types of things are intrinsically internet things that you're trying to talk to a lawyer about and how they would handle things in the real world. And it doesn't translate very well. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It makes sense. But anyways, so we have a new. So when was the movie done?
Do you want me to say the title so that nobody gets canceled?
I mean, it's I don't know if it's a big deal. Okay, I'll go ahead.
I don't have an issue with it, but I don't have an issue with it. But you guys may not want to get clipped saying anything like that.
I'll go ahead and I'll take the clip. The movie's called Fag Bug.
Ooh. God, you said the name of a movie. I believe it was
my latest short.
I believe it was a 2014 documentary, but it started filming in 2009, I think. So it was a few years, because she had to travel across the country. So it took a while to get all of it filmed, but it came out in 2014.
And to my understanding, essentially, it's about a car that it got graffitied with the F slur.
Yeah. So I've got it over here. It's a documentary film that follows Erin Davies, a young woman from New York who became the victim of a hate crime when her car is vandalized with homophobic slurs and graffitis, including the word fag. Instead of letting this incident bring her down, Erin decides to turn it into an opportunity to raise awareness about LGBTQ plus issues and promote tolerance and acceptance. She painted her car, which we saw the fag bug with the flag design, embarks on a road trip across the United States, and she documents talking to different people. So people that agree or disagree with whatever she's doing and how they feel about the gay community, the queer community in general. And that was kind of what the film was. But the interesting thing is who else was involved with this movie?
We have an interesting clip to bring up. So here's a minute clip from the movie. See if you notice, see if you recognize anybody, and so no cheating by who we've been talking about. Okay.
He actually did walk by a while ago, and he said that
he wanted to throw the table over and kick out the windows to the car?
Well, you found me on Twitter posting comments about the fag book.
What do you think when you first saw it?
Well, a lot of things, I guess. Mainly, why was it here? I knew, I didn't really, I kind of was getting mixed thoughts because I didn't know if it was pro-gay or, anti-gay. Really didn't know. As I looked into it, my views and thoughts kind of changed on it because I'm for a lot of movements. Definitely, if it's something positive, I'm all for movements, and I can also respect that it's a story behind the fag book.
You don't even know what you're reaching for, trying to get out of your hole, but you just keep on digging more. Pull yourself up, dust your ish off, keep your chin up,
Yeah.
and straighten up. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, essentially what happened there, from what I can take away from that clip, is that Eric was doing some stuff on Twitter, saying some nasty shit, got mad about it, and then ended up having a conversation with Aaron, who has the car, and learned that the movement was about a hate crime and that she's trying to spread awareness. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, we're cool. And he even donated music to the documentary. So there's songs in the documentary from Eric July, and he's in the credits of the documentary as well. So apparently he supposedly changed because of this documentary and started to look at things in a different way, but that's not at all what happened. So he's got he responded to this on his community tab, I believe.
Yeah, it's we have this big old response here, and it's a lot to break down. So shout out to the internet for this throwback. I was just reminded of this documentary I was a part of. When I was like 19, there was this rainbow colored bug, or the car, with the lettering F slur.
Well, by the way, why did he start out that there? I don't understand. True. He started out because I know that he's almost said it a couple times in live streams and caught himself, but he said it in the documentary. I mean, it's not like he hasn't said it before. Anyway,
dude, like Nick Rakita says it, like you click on a random Nick Rakita video, he's going to be saying the F slur quite a bit. It's kind of amazing. But yeah, it was parked on campus. I took it to Twitter or Facebook. I saw it and said all sorts of foul things. Keep in mind, this is 2000, where you could drop all sorts of gamer words. Haha. Turns out this was the owner of the bugs, Aaron's way to generate the conversation. If I'm not mistaken, the story was that she had a bug that some people spray painted F slur on. She was hella gay. So she decked out a bug and she went around the country.
By the way, I want to, before you finish this, Bob, I want to say that back in that era, there is a little bit of truth to like what he's saying in terms of how people spoke. I do remember there was a period of time where you could say all kinds of stuff and it was kind of just accepted and people didn't say anything. So I never try to hold anybody too accountable for, harmless conversation back then. It's when it's actually like violent stuff and people attacking people, that was more of an issue. But just using like gamer speak or whatever you want to call it back then, I do think it did lead to some problems now, but I wouldn't hold someone super accountable.
It's tough, tough to go after someone especially for stuff in the past that was more acceptable in the past. Like,
I don't know if the Geek Getaway was the first person to find this, because I got tagged in this like by 10 or 15 people after it came out. So maybe you were the first person to find it. Whoever found it, shout out to them, because I would have never even.
I don't even know how you would begin to find this. Like, just stumble upon it, I guess, but like. Yeah, it's
it's interesting. I was a student athlete, and one of my admins was cool with Aaron and said they saw my post. Instead of screeching and screaming about me offending her sexuality, she asked to chat. We linked up and talked, and it was one of the more humbling experiences I've had. We became cool, and she was hella
humbling.
My rise,
Eric July having a humbling experience and admitting to it.
That's interesting.
Okay, finish. Sorry, that caught me off guard.
My rise in the metalcore scene, we kept up with each other over the years. That was almost 15 years ago. It was a lot more socially acceptable to let it fly back then. If I said what I said now on social media, these weirdos would be out trying to send me to prison. Haha.
So what's changed?
No, and this last line really confused me. Back then, gay people weren't so gay.
What the fuck does that even mean?
I don't even fucking know.
What does that even mean? Look, I'm not like if he was saying bullshit, garbage gamer shit back then, I would not be super offended by it. But the difference is he met her, they became friends, and supposedly it was humbling to him and it changed his opinion. And he says, if I said this stuff now on social media I said back then, they'd try to send him to prison. But he still makes videos calling gay people groomers.
Yep.
Yeah.
So congratulations, you don't use the F slur in public anymore, but you're still saying the same stuff. Actually, more harmful stuff. I would rather you just say the F slur opposed to calling people predators and groomers.
True.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he likes to code his stuff for sure. But
yeah,
it's
weirdos, fruits, like.
Yeah, I mean, he said weirdos here in this post. So,
I mean,
and then the gay people aren't so gay.
What does that even mean?
He sees gay people as something they're doing to him.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so like gay people, like the sex thing, that's not really on his mind. It's more about they act way that makes him notice it or something like that.
That he's the victim for using slurs. He's the person that would be in trouble. That he would get sent to prison for using slurs against gay people. So he's the victim here.
Yeah. It's bizarre. Yeah.
It's really weird. I honestly wish that I could say that these are the kind of stories where sometimes it changes somebody and it changes them for the rest of their life. And they go, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't be such an asshole. Maybe I shouldn't be a dickhead or whatever. But in this situation, he had a chance to meet someone who is gay that possibly had an impact on him at that age. And then at some point he just said, fuck it, and went back to doing what he was doing before.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I wonder if he would consider Aaron to be everything that he accuses gay people of being now, if they even still speak anymore.
Yeah, I think we should probably try and, see if we can contact her. If she has anything to say about it, if she'd want to say anything about it. It might very well be a painful thing for her if they were had actually gotten to be friends and,
Sketchy. The only issue with this is I used to say this a lot back in the day, and I realize that saying this is kind of harmful now, especially from somebody who is gay, to assume somebody is, gay because they don't like gay people. However, with that being said, there is a precedence for this. Like, it is something that does happen, that a lot of times people are like, look over there, don't look at me, look over there. So I don't know if that is the answer. I do feel like there are things that can be sus for when people try to cover up. Yes, that is true.
So a couple things real quick. First of all, we've moved on from Star Wars and objectivity and stuff like that. Another thing is, if you can be in chat giving your opinion on something, and then someone disagrees with you and says that you don't have a good opinion on that, you kind of just have to accept that. Like, I don't know, and I don't know what's wrong with certain people that they just can't. Yeah. Somebody was having a problem with me telling, because I'm not going to get into it. It's a bunch of stupid shit that just happened in chat, and maybe I should just stay out of it. But I saw somebody giving what I thought was a pretty silly opinion to a friend of mine about Star Wars because they were trying to decide if they wanted to get into watching it. And I said, I don't think it's a good opinion. And the person couldn't handle it. You're in our public chat. You're having a public conversation. If you want to have a conversation where other people don't disagree with you, have it privately. Sorry, you're not entitled to the space.
Let's see. I'm looking now at Aaron Davies' Instagram. I don't see.
Well,
oh wait, no, I just see it. Never mind. Hold on.
Right here, though, it seems like Eric at one point was like super cool with being gay.
Truth out of you. No need to say no homo. I'm raping you and your bro. Hating and faking. No, I just can't take.
Yeah. What he did say that. What you think he said? Let's see.
Get the truth out of you. No need to say no homo. I'm raping you and your bro. Hating and faking. No, I just can't take it. No.
So
maybe.
Wait, did I hear that he wanted to assault someone and their friend?
Yeah,
and then
I'm raping you and your bro.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's not going to have to say no homo, implying that he is.
I guess.
I don't understand that. I don't understand the wordplay there. That's
I don't understand it.
So Aaron Davies did post Eric's post from, I guess, Twitter or whatever, but there's been no interaction on it whatsoever. No likes, no nothing. So I have no idea.
Turf, do you have a few minutes? Should we dive right into Marvel, or can we take a few minute break?
I mean, I'm probably leaving soonish. Like
you want to just dive into Marvel then? No.
Yeah, I mean, because
okay.
I don't even know if I'll be able to stay for the full thing because
no, once we start, there's no going back.
Because the tier list can be long.
Yes, it can.
Depending on how.
Listen, we got Loki season 2 coming out, and I figured, hey, you know what would be fun? Let's talk about the phase where Marvel, like before phase 4, Marvel, every movie was 10 out of 10. And into phase 4, every movie is 0 out of 10. It's the worst phase ever.
Is there a way that we can get Turf's like his takes on all of them so that we can then incorporate them as we go?
Actually, Turf, if some point you have to leave and you just want to drop in private chat, like your takes on a lot of them, and then we can incorporate those later as like tiebreakers and stuff.
This is all just phase 4, right? This is just the phase 4.
Yeah, this is just phase 4. There was a lot in phase 4. They crammed it into 2 years, and that is an argument for phase 4. Like you could argue, they just had way too much in it. Which they were a little backed up because of the pandemic.
It's also the phase when they hit TV.
Yeah. Starting out with TV immediately with
post Endgame. There's a lot of kind of big things changing with the MCU at this point. So.
And I will be honest, I kind of view phase 4 and phase 1 kind of similar in quality wise. I mean, I know everybody wants to talk about like it's amazing, but phase 1, I thought like, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, and then Thor maybe slightly better than those, but
I said on Twitter,
that was pretty good.
I said on Twitter, and I think this is objective. That like the people act like like you're saying that the early phases were great and all at least very good movies or whatever, and it's like there's always been hits and misses with the MCU, except the misses in early films were because they were playing it safe. The misses are Thor 2 and Iron Man 2, and it's like where they're just kind of like playing it right down the middle. They're not really taking any chances. They're not doing anything kind of to break the mold or anything like that. If the perceived misses anyway, people disagree on them obviously with phase 4, or because they've been taking wild fucking swings in some cases.
Yeah.
And I'd prefer that. I would prefer that.
Mm-hmm. So. And I forget where I was going to go. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So what is everybody's thoughts on WandaVision? It was the first entry in the MCU phase 4. I thought it was very good myself.
Can you remind me what the tiers are again?
What the what?
What the tiers represent?
S is the best, D is the worst.
So like S, I guess, is kind of like the best, right? Like
the almost 10 out of 10, like basically perfect.
But don't the letters mean something? Is what I'm asking. Like they represent a word, or no?
I mean, usually with a tier list, like you can change those to be whatever. Then you'll have like the top one being like top tier, and then like great, meh, bad, garbage. Like different things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I would say WandaVision for me was a breath of fresh air from Marvel, and I really enjoyed it. I liked how different it was. There were some dumb decisions made, like the Quicksilver stuff. I don't think landed as well as it should have. I loved Agatha because it was her all along.
Yes,
I think Vision had a great story that we're still waiting to see the ramifications from.
Mm-hmm.
Scarlet Witch was amazing in this and everything that I wanted her to be. And it finally took a story from the comic and kind of gave us that, that whether or not she's a good person or a bad person. And is she a great character that kind of fits in the middle, which I thought was quite interesting too.
Yeah.
I would say for me, this is almost a perfect series. It's very close to being a perfect series.
I'd say it's A.
I'd put it in A.
Okay. I was actually leaning S, but I can go with A. Because I thought it was fantastic.
For me, it's not top of phase 4, I wouldn't say. But it's close to being up there.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think it's fantastic. I think it's something different. The sitcom format was very interesting. It was a little too much in the beginning, but like once we actually get into it in episode 4, it hooked me.
I also want to point out this was the beginning of the never-ending theory crafting in Marvel shows.
Yes,
WandaVision immediately came out with Lucifer was everybody, Mephisto was everybody. That's literally what it became. Wolverine was going to show up, Professor X and Magneto were going to be there. It was just all kinds of stuff. I don't know if it's for better or worse, but it did start with WandaVision. I do remember that being the thing. So.
Yeah. So
and then
just real quick, just like because it's probably good that we all like are kind of on the same page for what like we want the tiers to be. Like I'm thinking like S is like fantastic, amazing, perfect, right? Like A is more of like a great, like a very good show. B is kind of like good / decent. C is like meh, you know, like, and then D is probably like bad. Like,
D for me, like. D is almost like unwatchable content is what I usually put in D. So
like unwatchable.
Well, for me, I guess it's good to establish that, because like for me, it's kind of varies on the phases. Like for D, like that would just be what I think is the best of the current list that we're looking at. But like a D for one list and a D for another list might be completely different. So
it takes a lot for me to give something a D or a bottom of the list. It would have to be something just really awful, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
True. Next up is Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I love this show. I love this show so much.
I'd say it's honestly, I mean, I'm probably going to be the odd one out, but I'd say S tier on that one.
I lean towards A tier because I think it's really good, but I don't think, like, I definitely prefer WandaVision to it. I think it's really good. It's not quite as good as they're shooting for. Like when it hits, it really hits, but then it doesn't hit all the time, in my opinion.
Well, you're objectively wrong.
Oh, shit, fuck.
What about you, Turv? What do you think of Falcon and Winter Soldier?
I'm between a B and an A.
Okay.
Like between like good and very good, you know.
I think it's going to land in A because I'm between S and A, and so everybody's sort of.
I think an A makes sense.
I think it's going to go into A.
Yeah, I think.
But look,
and I are kind
personally
of
put it below WandaVision.
Yeah.
So like further to the right. That's what I would do.
So Bob, you said A for you or B?
For me, like I think I'm kind of aligned with Turf. I'm kind of A. I could go B, but like I'm kind of A.
I'm fine with A.
Yeah.
I think if we have one S and one solid B, that kind of makes it an A by default.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Loki's S tier for me. Period.
Yeah. Next.
I agree.
Yeah. Loki season 1 was pretty S tier for me. The worst complaint I can throw at this is I thought the screening was kind of spotty in a lot of spots. That's literally about it. Like I love what this series does. The screening, the keying.
Oh, really?
You know, like a Pompeii I thought looked really fake.
Okay,
like desert stuff.
Oh, yeah. That's a good example. I completely forgot about that scene.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff like here's the like they have this great bureaucratic set for the TVA, and I thought all that shit looked great. And then they even have the robots that look great. There's so much here that looks great, but anytime they're in like some way far off world, it looks like really bad screening in my opinion.
But that's kind of like a negligible thing compared to like how great the fucking story and the characterization was.
Oh yeah, no, that's literally my point. That I'm saying that's the worst I can throw at. I think it's S tier personally.
I would put it in S comfortably.
Yeah, comfortably.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh,
I knew I liked you guys for a reason.
Yeah, no. So it sounds like we're comfortable with S tier on Loki because I love Loki and WandaVision. They were fantastic.
Yeah. Black Widow.
Here's where we get spottier. Black Widow.
I'm gonna get chastised for this one. I actually thought Black Widow was good. It just came out in a bad spot.
I agree.
Yeah, my main thing watching it is like why, you know.
Yeah,
it should have come out earlier, but I will give it this honestly. Like for a prequel, and one of the inherent problems with a prequel with a character, you know, that we know is going to be in something is like where there's a lot less sense of like danger for this character, right? But they actually did a pretty good job of kind of like, I mean, I don't even know. I'd have to watch it and kind of pay more attention to see exactly what they're doing. But there are some moments when it's like you kind of forget a little bit that oh yeah, she's going to live to die later on.
Yeah,
you know. But yeah,
you know, it's unfortunate that this movie didn't come out where it should have come out because I think it would have been much better received in that spot than where it was, being a prequel. Like timeline wise, I think it would have worked better where it belonged.
Well,
there was some stuff like the car crash part of this that I was like, oh my god, it was really, really bad. Honestly, like where they were in the car and it like flipped over and it was just like it looked really fake and shitty. I'm sorry. But anyway.
Well, there's also the thing that Chud's like throughout, and I have to admit it does look bad where Yelena's like getting knocked from the explosions, knocking her back. That looks really bad. I will go ahead and levy my biggest complaint here is Taskmaster, and it's not the fact that she's a woman like all of them levy. I don't care Taskmaster's a woman. What I care about is like Taskmaster doesn't feel like the threat that I thought Taskmaster could be in this series. Like I love the idea of Black Widow versus Taskmaster, who is just somebody who can copy moves, which is what Black Widow does. She has great fucking moves.
And having just read a comic with him in it, he's kind of a Weasley shithead too, and that like that would have been a fun character, you know.
Yeah. They come up done more to characterize them.
I'm just looking now at the director. So Kate Shorthand was the director of Black Widow. I would say my issue probably, and we've been really spoiled, is the MCU has had a good batch of directors that knew how to handle an ensemble cast, like juggling a lot of characters. Looking at someone like the Russo brothers, who did a fantastic job of juggling multiple characters. James Gunn with Guardians of the Galaxy does a really good job of juggling multiple characters. Even, someone that's been canceled, Joss Whedon, who does a good job of juggling multiple characters. I feel like this movie could have had less characters and probably would have been more successful. I think the issue is that, like you said, with Taskmaster, we didn't really get a lot from a character that is known for being sort of egotistical and snarky, that became sort of this unspeaking, I don't even know what you would call it, like not even a zombie, but like this super soldier character, which is fine, except for the fact that Taskmaster is a character in the comics that has a very specific personality. And I think that they pulled away from that. So I don't mind this version of Taskmaster, but I was unprepared for it when I went and saw the movie. Like I didn't realize that what we were going to get. I would put this in a B for me. This would be a B tier movie for me, and I think it could have been an A with a little bit of tweaking. But
I think they should have reduced some of the David Harbour stuff for Taskmaster, or what? Like
it could have just been tightened up a little bit. I think it just should have been tightened up a little bit. There was a lot of jumping around in moments in this movie that I think could have gone smoother. Personally,
it's definitely not flawless.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, I thought that could have been a really good opponent for her to face too, even if we take away my issues with the personality change, which I have that issue. But like, it could have been a great opponent for her to face. Instead, there's this magic red smoke that will depower Taskmaster, and boom, we're resolved. And I felt disappointing.
There was too many elements being juggled for me to make the movie run smoothly. So I'd put it in B. It could have been an A with a little bit of tweaking, but I think it's a solid B for me.
At the end of the day, I do enjoy it, which is why I would put it in B as well. Dane, where are you at with it?
I almost want to put it in C, just because looking at what we have left, I feel like if I don't put this in C, I'm not gonna maybe put much of anything in C. Or
can we shift later? Like if we get to another movie and
no, once it's in, it's locked. No, of course we can shift.
I mean, so I'm leaning most towards a C, but then we're
I'm comfortable putting it as C, and then if we decide that there's something else that needs to be shifted, we can move it up.
It just feels bad because there are some legit good stuff in the movie.
And I enjoy it, kind of.
The way.
But
the way I view tier, I'm sorry, Turf.
No, go ahead.
I just say the way I view tier list, like this is like S to D based on what we're looking at, not based on like overall quality in my opinion.
Right.
Also, just the fucking opening Nirvana cover, good shit. I listen to that now and then. Good stuff.
Yeah. It's a solid. It's a solid movie. I won't call it bad by any stretch. It could have been better. Next up is What If.
What If is a mixed bag for me. It's such a mixed bag.
Very mixed bag.
There are some episodes that I love, and there's a couple of them where I'm like, no. Like the Doctor Strange episode was beautiful, brilliant, great episode of What If. I think the Star-Lord with Chadwick Boseman was great. Marvel Zombies was a lot of fun, but then you have like the really bad Thor episode that I thought was not good at all.
The Thor party animal thing did not work for me whatsoever.
I think the Captain Carter one was okay, but again, not the strongest of the series.
Especially to open, I thought it was a weak one to open with. I thought
the Iron Man one was fine, like the one with him and Killmonger, but it was also I don't know, kind of predictable in a way, and it just kind of moves so fast that it's like I don't.
It didn't do Killmonger any favors because he ended up being the same character that he was in the movies, which is
it did seem like they were intent on showing this guy's a bad guy. He would do the bad thing no matter what. Like even if he had the chance to do
just sort of set up what happens at the end with the Ultron stuff, getting the Infinity Gauntlet. So
I'd say
I'd put this in C.
It was okay.
I'd put it in C as well. I feel like it aligns with Black Widow.
And I was going to put it in B, but C is fine.
Because I'd also put it like below Black Widow. Because the things I'm happy I watched What If. It's not one of those where like it's like it was unwatchable, but I don't think I want to watch it again. Like
I know.
I've watched the zombie episode again, and I've watched the Ultron stuff, but I haven't gone back and watched really any of the other stuff.
Let's see. What do we have next?
Oh, Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi.
That's almost an S for me, honestly.
I'd say S. I love Shang-Chi. It's such a fun.
I felt it was a little overrated. That being said, I'd still probably put it in A. But
I'd say it's a strong A. Yeah.
So
we're split down the middle. We're split down the middle.
Because look,
convince me why it's an A, and I'll change my mind.
First half to me was kind of, I don't know, not standard because there was some different stuff going on than normal origin story, but it just wasn't super engaging. It was just like waiting for the next fight scene. But then the last half really took some fucking turns, and like there were some surprising developments, and I fucking loved it. Like everything in the last half, the final battle, and all that was great, excellent. By the end of it, I was completely on board.
Yeah, the final battle was wild.
So Turf, you're also S, right? You're thinking
I'm also S. Yeah.
Okay, so Bob, why do you think A?
I mean, a lot of what Dane said, I felt like the beginning felt kind of standard. Like I've seen this before. This is, okay. Cool.
See, I disagree. I totally disagree. I don't think we've seen a character like Shang-Chi in any superhero movie before. I can't think of one that's like. I mean, yeah, it is a origin story, but his character, the setup for the character and everything. Yeah. I don't think we've seen anything where a character comes from this mythological world where they're living in the real world and they're trying to adapt, and Aquafina's their best friend. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think we've ever seen
Aquafina was.
I honestly I sometimes find like the first half of the movie the most like my favorite part of the movie.
Okay.
But I like the whole movie just in general. But I really like the introduction of the character.
Well, I should say that, like, for being as hardcore of a Marvel fan as I am, and as having seen all the previous phases, like every movie a bunch of times, there's most of these I've only seen once, and I should give them another watch. So, like, they're open to adjusting my opinion.
I think that Shang-Chi, in terms of Phase 4 movies, if you look at everything that came out in Phase 4, this one and the next one are the two most different films in terms of like Marvel movies. Because the lore in this one and the like, when I was watching Shang-Chi, I felt like I was watching live action anime. That's what it looked like to me, especially the second half of the movie.
Yeah, I think that argument can be made.
I'm okay with putting it in A, but just know that I will always feel like it's an S deep down inside.
Yeah.
So,
for me, if it goes in A, it needs to be top of A.
So like chat's going
A+, A+.
Yeah,
we're 50,
like it needs to be higher than the other two.
I haven't seen it in a while. Dane hasn't seen it in a while, and you guys are making good arguments for it. So I am fine putting it S.
Okay,
how's that work for you guys?
Is Dane? You're going to dispute that? No S.
I'll accept it. I'll accept it begrudgingly. I'll accept it.
Yeah.
Ooh, the next movie! I have fought so hard for this fucking movie in the past. I think this movie is brilliant.
S fucking tier. S fucking tier.
It's massively underrated. I wasn't even going to go S tier with it, but I'm comfortable with it in S tier. Turf, where are you at with it?
I'm between an A and a B. I do like it quite a lot. Like I like it.
No, it's
more
absolutely
than most,
underrated,
but not as much as you guys. I don't think.
Dude, visually, this is probably one of the best MCU movies.
Compared to how
there's
shit
so many
a lot of
shots
things
that are
look
brilliant.
in Phase 4, this movie's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I think
it's gorgeous in general. I mean. Okay, somebody needs to talk. You guys are talking.
I thought Dave was
I was about to, but I know I'm about to go off, so I don't want to like step on anybody.
I'm very passionate about Eternals, but I'll let Dave take this.
All right, so I think that a lot of the complaints, I'm not saying you guys, but like a lot of the things that criticisms people say about it are basically like it's not. It just boils down to it's doing a lot of things differently, and like it's a very kind of. It's a vibe movie, you know what I mean? There's a lot of fucking vibes going on, and you kind of just have to like soak it in. And I just think it's great. Like it's not super. Well, it is. I was gonna say it's not super character focused, but it kind of is too.
Yeah.
And then then like the twist with Icarus and stuff. I fucking loved that shit. The action was sparing, but when it was done, it was excellent.
They did the Flash better than any Flash we've ever had. Makari's speedster battles were better than any live action Flash stuff we've ever seen. And look, I'm wearing a fucking Flash shirt. I love the TV show, but Makari gave me everything that I've wanted from the DC Flash that we've never had, including from the Flash movie.
Yeah.
No.
So the things people are saying about too many characters and like too much exposition, like the thing is though that is a fucking spot on adaptation of Jack Kirby's fucking original comics, because that's exactly what it was like. It was such a faithful fucking interpretation in terms of like
That's the thing. Like this movie feels like a Jack Kirby comic modernized, and frankly, it's kind of modernized perfectly.
By the way, and Chloe's visuals look.
Yeah.
Her view of what this world is was beautiful. And I also want to point out this movie, and people might be forgetting this, but this movie addressed every single criticism that people have had about Marvel over the years, and they still didn't like it. They wanted more mature storytelling with bigger stakes.
Yes.
More characters that are dark and mature, like characters that mean something, a wide range of characters. And if you look at the Eternals, they're all very different characters. Something big, something world changing.
I think that's part of why they don't like it, if you know what I'm saying. They're all very different characters. And see, I just disagree with this, man. Like, I don't even know if that makes. What are you talking about? How would that?
Everybody keeps complaining about the eternal hand in the earth, and they just
look. If you were,
I always ask, what show would have addressed that by now? Which one of the shows would have addressed it? They've mentioned it in multiple shows.
If you understand storytelling, you know that, like, if something doesn't have anything to do with the plot or whatever, then why talk about it? But also, you live in the 616. Sorry, no, the MCU. It's not. It is, but it's not. Whatever. You're in the MCU. You live there. Every day on the fucking news, you're seeing crazy shit happen. You literally just got snapped back from fucking being dead for 5 years.
But a hand out of the ocean is too far. That one's too far. Too far.
Well, I'm just saying. It's been a day in this news cycle, and then people were bored. You know, that's. It's. I mean, look at the shit that gets fucking.
You have Asgardians with a like Disney park on Earth. Like, come on.
Okay, so we end up with 2 solid S's that really like it. I could go S, but I lean towards A, and then Turf is B or C.
So I think
I said B or A.
I think we're going
B or A.
Oh, you said B or A?
No, okay. Say, look, I disagree.
Maybe I said wrong, but I mean B or A.
Are you with me on this, DJ? Because I just fucking gave you guys S tier on Shang-Chi, and I think the politics of this whole thing indicate that I am, I've earned a little capital here.
I'm going to take your side because I think it's an S tier anyway, so I'm not going to disagree with you on that. So you know how I feel about it.
All right.
Are we putting it S tier? Are we putting it in S tier? Is that what we're doing?
I think that's fair.
You guys are passionate, so
it's just for me. It's like putting it above WandaVision.
Wait. I gave them Shang-Chi on S tier as well, and I want to put it in A. I don't see.
And I'm agree with Bob. I think Bob should have his way.
Okay. All right.
No. I mean, last time I watched this movie was on a plane, so maybe that like.
Well, I mean, we gave up Falcon and Winter Soldier from S tier. I was going to put that in S tier as well.
Dude. Yeah, we've been sacrificing quite a bit for you guys, and y'all are just like, let's just throw it wherever we decide it is.
You guys have more passion about it than
but lowest S tier. It does not go higher than Shang-Chi.
Okay. I will say this, and I truly believe this: in like a decade, all the people that don't like Eternals will go back and start saying it's a masterpiece.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna get a like a revised look on
Just because like I'm not just because I'm not putting it in S tier instinctively, dude, I thought this was a fantastic movie. I thought it was better than Shang-Chi.
Right.
Blasphemous.
I know. Next up is Hawkeye.
B.
For me, it's an easy B.
It's just a middle of the road show for me. I love Jeremy Renner. I love the story. I love Yelena and stuff, but it's still for me is just I pretty much don't have. I mean, yeah, we got to see the Kingpin and everything or whatever, but still, it just feels like it came and it went. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. I haven't really thought about. Like, I enjoyed it, but like I haven't really thought about since it came out. It's one of those things where it pops up and I'm like, oh yeah, that was a thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was, like I enjoyed it all the way through, but the finale felt very flat for me. So it's like I just haven't really thought about it since.
Look, it's a good show, and all the acting was good, but I'm very comfortable putting it just middle of the road.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to like it, and the first couple episodes gave me a lot of promise, and then it just didn't. It really, the last episode is what just kind of like made me, I don't know.
Like I'm tempted to say C, but I like it more than those.
Yeah. I would definitely want one go lower than B, but like
it's a B.
Yeah.
The best thing about the last episode was Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin, but it wasn't even like his what they did with the character.
Yeah, it was just seeing.
It was just seeing him back.
This was another show that suffered from theory crafting, like just so many theories while the show was on that it made it hard to watch sometimes.
Yeah.
So, I think we're comfortable with B on this one.
Yeah. I think so.
We all came together on that one. That was
No Way Home.
We hit the bullseye.
Oh my god.
No Way Home is a mixed bag for me. I would have given it an S after I walked out of the movie, but then I feel like when I watched it at home, it kind of dropped down a little bit. So
Like-
it's a good movie, but I would not put it in S tier.
No.
This for
I
me
would
is
put it in
has
S tier.
similar things like to Endgame, where it's like the experience alone puts it as an S tier for me.
Yes.
It's like watching it afterwards, I maybe don't enjoy it that much, but it's like the thinking back to like what this movie was in the moment. Like
It was a phenomenon. It was a movement.
Yeah. And it's like
it was the first movie I saw in the theater after fucking COVID. I believe.
I want to point out the awkward thing for me, and the only thing I remember watching this back at home is they gave pause moments for when Toby and Andrew showed up, and you see it in the movie, and it's like there's like a 15 or 20 second like nothing when they show up. That shouldn't mean anything to anybody else on screen, but they did it because they knew in the theater people were gonna cheer.
Exactly.
I'm kind of surprised they didn't add it out in the home video.
Well,
Because in the theater you needed it. In the theater,
was it just me, or did they make Garfield a little bit more of a goofball than he was in his movies?
Yes, I do feel that.
Yeah.
No, that's the thing. Like everybody wanted Amazing Spider-Man 3 after this, and it's like
I still want it.
Andrew Garfield was better written.
I still want it. I want them to
I
take
don't
the
object to it.
changes
Yeah,
they made to him in No Way Home.
No, I like it.
I don't trust Sony to do that though.
I like it, like the stuff where he's obviously like insecure about himself, and they're like, "No, you're amazing," and like
I'm comfortable putting this in an A, knowing that there was a time when it was S tier. There was a moment in history where it was an S tier, but
my main thing is like I see this the same light as like Endgame, where I don't see them as traditional movies. Like to me, the experience is what they are.
So
and
I would
that,
also
to me,
make an argument that if we put Shang-Chi and Eternals in S, then maybe this needs to go in S as well. That would be an argument that I would make too, just because of the movie experience.
Because
I love
my
it.
original experience was S, but that is not what it was following. But I'll go with my original.
What about you, Turf? How do you feel?
I'm fine with an A.
Which, by the way, shows
like
that
top
these
of A.
things
But,
shows
like-
these things are not fucking objective. Because if they were, then I would see the exact same thing every time I watch. it.
This would be a boring list because we would all just agree on everything.
It's just like I'm also just a really big Spider-Man fan, and that movie was like so much fun. And I'm just like, out of all of these movies, if I had to just watch one right now, I'd probably watch that one just because
I agree.
It's like my perfect movie.
Yeah. Okay. I'm good.
I do have.
It
By
sounds
the
like
way,
I
I
didn't
don't
give much of an argument. It sounds like we're going S on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you guys?
But like,
seen-
I'm fine. If you guys want A, I'm fine with that.
No, I'm good with it.
I want S. I want.
Okay,
I thought it was great. I loved just seeing fucking Toby back was great. I'd rather watch this than Spider-Man 3 and give me 3 Toby movies. Boom.
Have you guys seen this deleted scene from No Way Home? Got it right here.
Oh. Changes the movie. It changes the movie.
All right,
Okay,
what do we got
what's up
next?
next?
Moon Knight. Oh gosh, Moon Knight is
Moon Knight.
mixed for me. So Moon Knight is a show that I
So-
think that there's some good stuff, but then there's a lot of weird shit too.
Yeah, like listen, there's stuff in Moon Knight that I wasn't thrilled with, but the stuff that hits in Moon Knight hits so hard. I can go S on it.
Okay,
I
so-
can go A, but I can go S on it because
I think Oscar Isaac
good.
nails Moon Knight. I think he does a
Mhm.
great job. I think some of the changes
Mhm.
made to the characters work. I think this show stumbles through a lot for me in a lot of moments. There are episodes that are super high, and there's some episodes where I'm like, "What?
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
just me? Is that just me? Am I the only person that feels that way?"
No,
No,
I
I
pretty
think-
much feel the exact same way. Like, there's a moment like there's stuff, and I would make peace with it. Like for instance, the hippopotamus thing. Like that's how an episode ends, and you're just like, what the fuck? And like, what does this mean? Why do I care? And it's then like the next episode, it's kind of endears you to it, right? But through the episode, but like, and then I'm just like, at the same time, it's just I've read a lot of Moon Knight, and most of it is like a little bit more dark and gritty than that show got. And I kind of was looking for something like that, and it didn't.
I
Really
think
get
for
there.
me that I just absolutely like Oscar Isaac is great. I love the character stuff with David Wilson.
Mhm.
I thought he was a great character, kind of crazy, but I kind of just love it. It's fantastic. Turk, where are you at on it?
I will say I did love the costumes as well. I
Oh.
think the Moon Knight costume. was
Yes.
Well, of course you would fucking call it S tier.
I really like Moon Knight.
great. Okay.
But
That's it. I'd say it's A.
I'd say A personally.
Okay.
I mean, I'd be okay with
it.
Like, it is one of my like more appreciated of the shows. Like, it's one of the shows I like the best. But to me, so
Moon Knight is very divisive. Are you guys seeing the comments? Like, some people are like it's the best show, some people it's like it's meh. I mean, that solidifies it as definitely not S tier.
Yeah. I mean, I also like I've never read. I knew nothing about Moon Knight. Like I haven't read many comics. Like at least for the more lesser known. You know, so it's like I didn't know Moon Knight until the show. So it's like that hasn't done anything for my enjoyment of it. So it's like,
Khonshu fighting at the end as a giant.
However, in the recent Jed McKay run, there is a point whenever he summons Khonshu, who shows up as a big giant thing and fights the thing, and it's like, okay, so I guess it
like that stuff to me was just really cool.
For me, Moon Knight did this thing where the beginning of it set up this idea that he was going to be dealing with mental health, and I thought that was very interesting.
It did that pretty well.
Yeah, and then when it got to the point where they were in the boat with all the hippopotamus and all that and stuff, where I was like, "What the fuck am I watching?" And then, that's kind of where it hit for me. So, I'm comfortable somewhere between like anywhere between a B and an S, and pretty much any of those three slots. For me.
It's weird.
Okay, it sounds like most people are settling on A, and I can live with A because, like I said, there is stuff in there I'm not thrilled with, but just goddamn, when it hits, it hits.
That's probably one of the
stuff that's so goddamn good in my opinion.
It's one of the main ones I need to watch again and reevaluate. I think.
That's a fair argument. I haven't seen it since it came out. There's a couple episodes I just loved in that.
Yeah.
All right, so
I probably have to get going because it's getting quite late. Sorry, Bob.
We've started. We're finishing, Turf. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, how about we let Turf just real quick just like place all these and we can like adjust them as we go.
All right. Just keep it in mind, but like don't let it like you guys take over now. So what's this? Multiverse of Madness. I would B or A. Miss Marvel, I put A. Thor: Love and Thunder. C or B, probably B. I'm Groot, did not watch. Sorry about that. She-Hulk.
I might be the only one that watched it. So
I watched it too. I watched both seasons.
Oh, okay.
She-Hulk, mixed bag for me. A or B.
Yeah.
You got to the bad one there. As you hit the bad seed.
Wait, what? Which one's the bad seed?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was gonna say.
I like S or A. I like that a lot. Wakanda Forever. Oh gosh. A. And then what's that? Quantumania?
Yeah.
No, that's
D.
That is holiday special, Guardians holiday special.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Oh, Quantumania is not in this one.
No, that's the beginning of the next phase.
5. Yeah.
Oh, I was hoping it was this one because it would be my only D one.
Oh, okay. This is the holiday special. Like this is Christmas time is here. You know the song they sang in the.
Actually, Ziggy, it's been confirmed that Thanos is not canonically in the MCU a deviant, like he is in the comics. So that's not accurate.
Holiday special. I'd go B or C.
Okay. So no D's in this one. So no D's.
No, because I thought Quantumania would be here, and I was like, that's my go-to D. But yeah, so that's what I would do. I hope when I wake up tomorrow that there's nothing egregious here. But I'll catch you guys. All right. Peace out. Have fun.
Later.
See you guys.
So next up is Multiverse of Madness.
I'm gonna get railed for this one. This is my favorite movie from this phase. I like it more than No Way Home.
I do really like it. I was leaning towards A tier. I will say this is, according to Rags, the worst piece of media he's ever seen.
Yeah, that's a lie.
So
look, nobody's gonna pick S tier on this one except for me. So there's no way that's gonna happen. But I love this movie and I will defend this.
I think it's good. I think it's a solid A tier.
I'll pick S tier.
Oh, you guys are gonna overrule me?
So that's,
I'm perfectly fine with A, but I would take S. Yes.
Let me explain why though. I'm gonna give my reason for why in very short because I'm very long-winded.
Here, give me one moment. I'll be right back in here.
Okay. For the chat, I guess since they're here or whatever. I love Scarlet Witch. She's one of my favorite characters in the comics. I've loved her for years. I think that the version we've had in the MCU has been quite interesting. Between WandaVision and then this movie, I feel like we finally got something resembling the Scarlet Witch that I love from the comics, which is this character that's multidimensional. And I don't mean like jumping through dimensions. I mean like just multifaceted. She's a character that has ups and downs. You know, she's not predictable. I love the visuals. I'm not a huge Sam Raimi fan. I know that's probably heresy, but I think that his imprint was all over this movie. The transitional shots, the close-ups, the funny moments, especially the part where they're running through the tunnels and, you know, you have Wanda sort of flying around, like jump scaring people. Is it a perfect movie? No. I think there's stuff you could argue is not great in the film, but I love this movie. 100%. I could watch it a million times. When they went to that planet where, you know, Doctor Strange was using musical notes as magic, I pretty much fell out of my seat. I was like, okay, this is really fucking cool.
Good case.
Are we arguing about Thanos being a deviant in the chat?
I mean, it's just I'm reading about how it's been. Chloe Zhao said that it talks about the backstory that they developed for him and Eros in the MCU, and it's not the same as the comics. So.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
All right, so you just made a really good argument to make it S tier, if nothing else, for Sam Raimi, because you said you're not a Sam Raimi fan, and I am actually. I love Sam Raimi.
I was concerned when I heard he was, because I love the first Doctor Strange movie. So when I heard he was taking over for this one, I was a little bit concerned about how it would look. And I absolutely want him to do the third movie at this point. Like I want him to do the third Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah,
it was. He's good with this material for sure. So
the zombie bending the Doctor Strange did, turning the zombies into a cape. Just the visuals in this were amazing. I really don't have anything but like I believe that this Doctor Strange is nothing like the one we got in No Way Home. It's a very different character in terms of the way he's treated. I love it. Yeah, this for me would be an S tier for sure.
Okay, and you were going S tier as well, Dane.
Yeah, but I'll take A if you have a problem.
I can be talked into S. I think DJ made a very good argument, and I like it a lot. So it's not much to budge me.
It's not a perfect movie, but the stuff that's great and fun is just so fucking great and fun that I like. Whatever, it can have some.
Always judge stuff on the way it makes me feel because art is not objective.
Right. Look, you can look at. I mean, even the Spider-Man movies by Raimi. There's some kind of weird. Fucking off stuff about him here and there, and it's like, but you still you kind of overlook that because it's like everything else is just such a fucking, I don't know, it's like a tangible fucking feeling that you have watching that.
And I'll still say the second Raimi movie in that Spider-Man trilogy is one of the best superhero movies of all time.
It is objectively the best superhero movie of all time.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't argue that point very well. That's why you lost the debate. But
oh, you mean the debate you lost? Okay, yeah. I mean, I argued it well enough to win. So hey,
you didn't even remember what happened in the movie, Bob. You didn't remember how he stopped the train and everything.
One of the most iconic scenes from that era. Like, so we got Ms. Marvel next. I like Ms. Marvel. I thought it was pretty good. I liked it more than Hawkeye. For sure.
Yeah. Well, here's the interesting thing with Ms. Marvel when it is like kind of doing its own thing, kind of like a teen superhero show. I love it. When it's more standard superhero show, I'm not as thrilled with it. So it's mixed bag. I lean definitely positive for it. It's an A tier for me.
It's A for me as well. Ms. Marvel is definitely A tier for me. I don't have any complaints about that.
I'd say so. Yeah.
Okay, A tier. All right.
No arguments. Just all on the same page there.
Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh my God, this is a movie of sheer disappointment for me.
It is.
I love Mighty Thor. I love the idea of Jane Foster. I love the idea of Gore. All of these things were great for me. And I'm so sad that someone also like Taika, who I really loved, he did a great job with the previous Thor movie. And Our Flag Means Death is absolutely hilarious. I feel like Marvel gave him too much freedom on this movie and let him go too weird. And it just did not pay off for me. So I would say this is probably between a B and a C.
Wow.
Wowzers. I love what they did with Mighty Thor. I love what they did with Mighty Thor. Overall, it was great. I like Christian Bale's performance as Gore, but like
we needed more of it. We needed more of it.
Could we see him kill some gods, please?
Yeah.
I know. Like
apparently they filmed some of that and then they cut it out.
We had that fucking City of the Gods. We had Russell Crowe cast. And when I saw Russell Crowe was in this and we had a god killer, it's like, oh, Russell Crowe is dead. And then like he does die, but it's Thor that does it. And then like he's not actually dead. So
we get to see Gore kill one god at the very beginning to establish who he is.
Yeah.
And then that's it. That is it.
Very, very disappointing in my opinion. And we haven't even touched the visuals, this is the worst looking.
I did a whole video on how to fix this movie because I'm so annoyed with it. Because there's so many good elements, and then there's these parts where it's like the floating kid's head that looked really stupid in that one scene, and like, okay, that looks really dumb. Yeah.
They did fix that in apparently the Disney Plus version.
Yeah, I heard.
So.
Yeah, it looked really bad in theater. But
yeah,
there are parts of this that I loved, but the parts that I loved did not fix the parts that I hated. So for me, it's between a B and a C. I can't put any higher than that.
I think that what they did was they set her up like she is in the comics right now, which she's Valkyrie in the comics, or a Valkyrie. Didn't they set her up as that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she went on to Valhalla afterwards.
Yep.
So
yeah, I overall enjoyed it, so I don't know if I can quite give it a D, but I could easily go B or C with it.
I wouldn't say D because I did like some of it, but I would definitely say it's
overall I enjoyed it. But
I don't know what to say about it, honestly, because I do have like there was a lot of it that I really fucking liked. There was like legitimately emotionally impactful moments that I fucking like resonated with me, but then there was just the humor, like that whole thing with like Jane trying to find her catchphrase or whatever. I'm just like blank faced every single fucking time. Like this is. And then, like, you know what? When it started, and you first hear the goats, and they're fucking screaming. I was laughing my ass off the first couple of times, but then they did a little bit too much, and after like 4 or 5 times, I'm like, stop.
And they introduced a really interesting element with Mjolnir where it can split apart and come back together, and then we never really see that used very much in the movie. So.
Well, you brought up the comedy, and the issue here is like I don't even think the issue is necessarily the comedy. I think the beginning was way too comedy packed. And it just threw off the tone of the rest of the movie because there's some serious stuff in this movie, but you just set the tone of it being way too goofy, and it just feels weird shifting back.
By the way, the monochrome scene is fucking amazing.
Yeah, at the end,
stuff like that. I want more stuff like that.
That's what I'm saying. There were parts of this that were beautiful. There were parts of this that were beautiful. Like I love them, and then there's parts where I'm like the City of the Gods. That whole scene was garbage. Like that was just a bad scene.
Like I just assumed we'd see this like these rich gods and like Gore pops up and just starts slaughtering all of them. That whole city just becomes this fucking massacre place, but they don't even really do anything with it. It's just it's wasted. So where are we at? Are we it sounds like we're between B
where are we putting it? C? Okay, I'm good with that.
I can go C.
I would say it's actually which better, Black Widow or this. I mean, that's really what it comes down to because they're both in the same.
I definitely think Black Widow's better.
Right.
See, okay. I feel like I connected more. So like the overall Black Widow's a better made movie. It's more even. It's the tone's consistent, but like I connected more with stuff in Thor. So like that's
so you would say at the very least they're in the same ballpark. Is that what you're saying? Or...
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
I feel we're crossing enough that I think putting in the same tier. I think we're good.
I love I Am Groot, but it's middle of the road for me. It's a B.
It is very middle of the road. Like it was entertaining for what it is, but it's
I think it's definitely made for children, like really young children. So I'd put it as a B. I think it's
I think B is solid for it, and
there's really nothing to talk about. It's all these anthology episodes, so.
Yeah, they're almost like Looney Tunes style episodes, except Groot doing goofy stuff.
She-Hulk, the divisive.
Have you noticed nobody on the internet ever talked about She-Hulk?
Did that come out already?
I think it's interesting. Yeah, I didn't even know. Yeah, She-Hulk. So She-Hulk has episodes I love and episodes that I could really do without.
I'm pretty malleable on She-Hulk in terms of where people are going to rank it, unless it's below a B. I think it's at least a B in most regards. I don't know if I'd put it lower than that. Because I kind of like the show, but there are some weak points in it. I think the visual effects weren't always great. I think some of the choices in the episode structures were a little bit weird. But overall, I think I liked this version of She-Hulk. I'd like to see her come back.
I'd say B is good for me.
Yeah, I would put this as a B.
I can live with B because like there's that episode where Like the beginning, I think is fairly solid, and in the middle kind of loses me a bit. But then
Daredevil.
we get that episode. Yeah, we get the episode with Daredevil, which is great, and then we get that episode where like she's in like that group with Abomination, and they're talking out stuff.
You know, maybe later on after we've had more stuff like She-Hulk, maybe it'll go up higher for me. Because it's such a different thing from all the other stuff.
I really feel like this phase 4 is going to be the phase of reevaluation going forward. I think like there's going to be some takes change.
I definitely feel like they were experimenting more, and it will be a learning phase.
My partner loved the show up until the Kevin Feige meta thing that happened at the end, and then he was like, I don't like that. That was the one thing that took him out. So
I had just finished reading the Dan Slott run, and so like that is such the TV show version of exactly what happens kind of in the comics. Like she goes and talks to the writers, and she knows, like it's fucking I don't know. I thought it was great. It's absurd. It's stupid. It's supposed to be, like and I thought
for me, I felt it was accurate to the comic book. It didn't quite work for me either.
Well, I'm good putting it in B though. I don't think we really have to move
I think we're good
else.
on B as well.
S tier, S tier, S tier, S tier.
That
Werewolf by Night was fucking great.
This to me, in terms of like things they did different in this phase, this is the perfect example of trying something and being extremely successful with it.
Hell yeah.
Amen. Oh my God, Werewolf by Night.
I want more of it.
Man Thing, bring back Man Thing, bring him back.
You know what I dislike about Werewolf by Night? It's a one shot. That's what I dislike about it. Because like after this, I was like, give me more. Oh my God!
I think we may see these characters return, but it'll probably be in something different. But this is a standalone story. Is Elsa great? Just this.
Yeah,
I love this whole thing. I have nothing negative to say about. Literally nothing negative. 100% perfect for me. I can watch it over and over again. I'm going to watch the color version when it comes out this year as well. So
I don't even like that one. I don't even know if I want a color version. I love the fact that it's black and white. I love that it's like old school style.
I just want to see what it looks like. I mean, I probably still prefer the black and white version.
You think this is like Disney blowing themselves? What?
Yeah.
The show? Like, what are you talking about, man?
Dude. Yeah. Werewolf by Night. Fantastic.
We need some Midnight Suns.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, Werewolf by Night's a D, right? We didn't like it. Okay. So Wakanda Forever.
I'm a little bit indifferent about this one. I feel like this is a B for me. And the reason I'm saying that is because it felt like they were really trying to put together a story without Chadwick, and you could feel it in the movie.
Yes, it doesn't quite work for me.
And you know what? I'm gonna say this. Thank God that Angela carried this fucking movie on her back, because she was probably the best thing in this film for me, to be honest.
Easy.
Okay. I'm gonna be weird on this one.
Okay.
I thought it was okay, so I was really not looking forward to seeing it. I didn't see it in theaters, partly because I was just like, I can't bring myself to feel like it's going to be any good at all. And also because Letitia Wright had all this stuff that she'd done publicly that I was like, I'm not going to be able to see her as like Shuri. And now, like, she's clearly a fucking idiot in real life. And then it was fucking excellent to me. Like, I was completely surprised by her performance. She, because Angela Bassett dies like halfway through.
Yeah.
So like she I feel like she carried it past that. And like the stuff with Killmonger, the stuff with there's the only thing that holding it back obviously is just this fucking shadow over the whole thing that, like, and right from the moment that the movie opens, you get like, oh, he's dying in another room, you can't see it, and it's like, oh, he died, you didn't see it, but he died, take our word for it, kind of thing. And it's like this kind of weird way to start the movie, but I don't know that there's a different way to do it.
So where would you put it then? A?
I put it A. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to argue against that, because I think Namor was also really good. Now that the chat is reminding me, I thought that Namor was really
great. I thought that they handled it as best they could. They handled the Chadwick being gone thing, and then like it was fun.
I still think Angela's. I know she died halfway through, but I still think she was like one of the biggest things in that film. In terms of storyline.
I'll give you some of my hot takes. I was not a fan. So I loved the way they handled Chadwick Boseman. I thought that stuff was touching. I thought Angela Bassett was fire throughout whenever she was on screen. I thought they handled Namor fairly well. I don't know how well he works as a villain, but as a character, I was on board, and I thought he was good, and I want to see him in more stuff. I thought Shuri just didn't carry the movie for me. I was not like her arc doesn't even really come up till pretty late in the movie, and it just doesn't. It doesn't quite sync up for me.
The way that I was looking at it is like, if we're comparing it subconsciously even to Chadwick Boseman, of course she doesn't fucking stack up to the gravitas that man carried. But I think if she had been, if like a Shuri movie had come out and Chadwick, didn't have anything to do with her or whatever, I think that we'd probably view it differently. You know what I mean? Like in a different context. I think she did really well. The scenes where she went up against like sparred verbally with M'Baku were fucking excellent. Both of them, they fucking shone.
I love M'Baku.
He's great.
Yeah,
and honestly, I might have preferred maybe if he had become the new Black Panther, but whatever.
I agree.
Yeah, I actually really like M'Baku. I like his arc in the first one.
There was a theory that he was
see more of him. Yeah,
a lot of people said it wouldn't have made sense, and I agree. I guess it would have been a little weird for him to become the quote unquote the new Black Panther based on his tribe. But I mean, I still feel like
I feel like I do feel like this movie is done. I feel like it was written with Chadwick in mind, and they had to do like rewrites and do reshoots to work around.
I think the next one is going to feel much smoother in terms of story because we've gotten beyond the hump of dealing with a real life tragedy. So, but I'm okay putting it in A or B. It doesn't matter to me one way or the other. So you guys can.
How did you guys feel about the ending where they're like, look, here's a new little kid. He's a boy, and his name is actually T'Challa. So like, we can just move on now, right?
Yeah.
I don't think we'll see another Black Panther for at least 4 or 5 years, and he will end up becoming the new Black Panther because I think they want to pass the mantle on from Shuri to someone, or we'll have 2 Black Panthers. One or the other is what I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I could go bomb the list on this one, but I feel like you guys are definitely more favorable towards it. So do we want to go B on it?
I'm fine with B. Yeah.
Okay. Guardians Holiday Special. God,
this is an A for me. I think it's an A for me. I feel like this is an A.
I mean, honestly, if I'm judging it on what it is and what it set out to do, it could even be an S.
Like I could go S with it easily. It's so dumb.
I'm not against S. I'm not against S. Actually, this is going to be a new tradition for us. Probably we're going to watch this every holiday now. I mean, it feels like a holiday tradition.
I mean,
for a lot of people.
It does a lot of what like James Gunn will do. He does something kind of dumb and stupid, but yet he pulls it all together in this like touching, like the ending of this is so touching. Like Mantis and Peter realizing they're not just like family, like really close friends, they're family, and it was so nice.
Well, Mantis already knew. She was actually scared to tell him, and like the fact that he was just like instantly like, yes, you're my sister's fucking, oh god damn it, right in the feels.
I mean, honestly, this special slots so well prior to Guardians 3. It's a really good like I don't want to say like prequel to, but it's a good like segue from 2 to 3. Personally,
okay. So I feel like we're going with S on this one.
Yeah, we can put in S. I'm good with that.
I 100% endorse. So
it's funny that the two Disney Plus specials are both S tier.
Dude,
that's really funny.
So good. They're so good.
Well, I want to also point out that, like, yes, we're focused on the Mantis thing part of it, but like, also it reached back and gave us some Yondu feels as well with the fucking, he's like shitting on Christmas, and then like at the end he gives him his guns. Just great. Also, the animated framing of it was awesome. Sorry.
Do we want to mess with the order on this? So
this is interesting here. Comic Nation here says, I will say I love the Haitian representation in this film. It's minor, but as a Haitian who barely got to see herself in media, it was great to see Ryan Coogler give us some rep. I didn't think about that, but that's a really good perspective. Thank you for sharing that with us.
And I also want to state, even though I'm not a huge fan of Black Panther 2, it's not against Ryan Coogler. He was given a rough situation. I think he did the best job he could, and I think he's a brilliant director and writer.
Also,
I'm excited.
I said this on my video when I reviewed this. I cannot imagine that entire cast that worked with Chadwick going back again to make another movie without him being there and tackling his real life death as a death of a character in a movie. Like, I can't imagine what that experience would have been.
Yeah, like. I mean, and that's almost kind of like dripping off of the movie when you're watching it, just that feeling of like, this is just a bummer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but honestly, Coogler is the only reason that movie is not a complete shit show. I believe.
Yeah.
And it's hard to rewatch. If you go back and you try to watch it, it's a hard rewatch because you stop thinking about what's coming up and you start to really realize what the actors and the characters are going through while they're making the movie. The second time I watched it was more emotional than the first time. It was tough.
So I guess people are asked about Quantumanium. If I were to rate Quantumania, I'd probably say B. I know Turf said D.
Yeah, Turf didn't like it. I would say between B and C for me. Personally.
Same. Yeah, I really wanted to like it a lot more than I did. It's just
as much as I didn't like it, and I know he's totally problematic now. I think Jonathan Major's performance in that keeps it out of the D range.
Lifts it up. Yeah. I think it's one of those movies that I enjoy watching it, but like as soon as it's done, I have no takeaways, no thoughts on it.
It was the most. It was the most personality-less Ant-Man movie of the three. So.
All right.
Yeah, I think they put too much like world building shit on that movie's shoulders.
So let's go through this. So like, what's our favorite in the S tier?
Ooh, that's tough. There's two of them are standing out for me. That would be Eternals and Multiverse of Madness. But I'm gonna go with Multiverse of Madness only because that is literally, I've watched that so many times. It would be kind of weird for me to pick something else. But Eternals, shout out to them, and Werewolf by Night also kind of shout out for that.
Yeah, I was about to say like Werewolf and Holiday Special are what stands out to me, which is honestly, weird.
I would say Loki, and then I would say yeah, I mean obviously Werewolf and
Okay.
Wow. So is I feel like Werewolf's kind of more our number one then.
Werewolf is an amazing piece of art. I mean, it's not even it's I don't even know where to define it. It's not really a film, it's not a TV show. It's this weird.
I saw somebody say that they prefer their movies in color earlier, and I'm just like, that's a weird, like, yeah, of course, man, we're in the modern age, but like the vibe of this is fucking perfect for like,
well, the transition that it makes is important in the movie. Yes. Like when it gets to the point where we get color for the first time, it makes sense within the movie.
Yeah, I think like, yeah, in general, like if you don't know what you're going to do, color, sure. But like there's artistic reasons to do black and white, and Werewolf by Night is a fantastic reason. I mean, Young Frankenstein, another great example. I just remember because I was talking about before stream. Yeah. But what would be our number two? So I know Eternals was brought up, Multiverse of Madness, Holiday Special, Loki. What are we feeling for our second?
Well, I mean, I would say Falcon and Winter Soldier first for sure, but that's, I know you guys don't necessarily see it.
Well, that's B.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I'm sorry. I thought it was, for me, Loki all the way number two.
I'm okay with leaving Loki at number two.
I can live with Loki. So number three right now it's Shang-Chi.
I can feel y'all are gonna try and put Spider-Man there, so go for it.
I was to say Spider-Man probably should go somewhere higher on the list.
Do we want to put Spider-Man there?
I mean, I feel like
that wasn't where I was going towards, but we.
For me, it's between Spider-Man or Multiverse of Madness to go in that third slot.
But I mean, yeah, Henry, like exactly, dude. Like, what do you mean other than exactly? Like that's why it worked. I'm sorry. I mean, if you don't value that, that's fine. That's your thing. But you know.
Okay, so it sounds like we're talking multiverse. I think I can go with multiverse being our third.
Yeah.
And then do we want to do Spider-Man as the fourth?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, and then for the fifth, I gotta do Holiday Special, guys. I love Holiday Special. And now it's between Shang-Chi and Eternals. Do we want
I'd put Eternals higher than Shang-Chi, honestly.
Yeah. So do I.
I'd put it before the Holiday Special, even maybe, but like that, you know, I'm just part of that.
Blasphemy.
Part of that is, and I'm recognizing this bias in myself, is that I know that so many people don't like it that I'm like wanting to simp for it a little bit harder than I maybe would if more people liked it.
All right, so that's the most complex tier. So now we're down to A tier with WandaVision, Falcon, Winter Soldier, Moon Knight, and Miss Marvel.
I would shuffle Falcon, Winter Soldier with WandaVision and then leave everything else where it is. That'd be me personally.
I may talk into that, but I like actually the order it's in right now.
I wouldn't argue against it either. I feel like these four to me kind of fall in the same spot with Ms. Marvel and Moon Knight being at the back side of it. So I don't have an issue with that at all.
So it sounds like the only question would be WandaVision, Falcon, Winter Soldier.
I'm good with leaving it the way it is.
Dane, you gotta be our tiebreaker.
Dane's gonna want Falcon, Winter Soldier first, for sure.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, it's true. You did bring it up. So yeah, we will swap it.
Then. In the next row, I would put Wakanda Forever at the front for sure. That would be the best of the bees.
Agree.
And then I would say probably She-Hulk is second best, and then the other two right where they are. Hawkeye.
Actually, yeah, I would actually move up She-Hulk because actually She-Hulk would be my number one in this tier.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, in this tier.
I suppose this bottom one is kind of just where it needs to be.
Yeah, I feel like
that's exactly where I sit with the bottom as well.
I mean, you could make an argument about shuffling What If and Thor: Love and Thunder, but What If being a TV show, there's episodes that just don't work for me. So leaving in the middle is fine. Yeah.
So I think there's not even a D tier. Well, there is a D tier, just nothing quite synced up in it. And I think it's worth noting, like, this is not the shit show everybody wants to make it out to be.
No, I don't think so.
This was decent. Listen,
look how many things. Look how many things are at the top compared to the bottom.
Yes.
It gets lower as it goes down.
Playing devil's advocate. This is rating against itself. How would it look if we rated against the rest of the MCU?
Right. Yeah, it would be. That would be different. But we'd also probably need more categories.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot more to rate.
Yeah, true. But I mean, it again, like my go-to is always Phase 1. Phase 1, you get Iron Man, Iron Man 2, Incredible Hulk, Thor, Captain America, and Avengers. I love Captain America, Avengers, and the first Iron Man, and the rest I can kind of do without, frankly.
And the interesting thing too, and this is what another reason this objective thing is so dumb, because how a movie like in a franchise like the MCU, earlier films can become not less good but less enjoyable based on the certain things that are done later on in the franchise. You know what I mean? Like Infinity War and Endgame, like, and then you go back and watch the first Avengers movie, like, yeah, it's still a pretty solid movie and whatnot, but like, I don't know, there's just it's you can see where they improved on the flow, and it also benefits from the the previous entries having built characterization and stuff like that. But yeah.
I do want to point out I have 10 minutes left before I have to go. So
I think we kind of got everything covered.
Well, but I did want to kind of look and see how many people kind of gave their, because we did put the we didn't announce it on chat stream because we're idiots, but the link. But we did. Bob did put together a one of these for you guys to do, so you can still do that. Honestly, we can look at it next time.
I mean, it's the exact one we just did here. But yes, the link is in Discord.
Wait. But they can do their own though, right?
Yes, they can. Absolutely.
Okay,
in fact, I will drop it in chat.
So I wanted to see who all left us their version in here, if anybody.
I also want to give a shout out to the fact that we didn't all become zombies because the emergency alert message went out today.
I know. I was looking
for that. Yeah.
So what does that mean? What does that mean? Does that mean that that now they're going to come up with another cope for why it didn't do anything? Is that what's going to happen?
Of course, it's like doomsday preachers and shit.
I mean, my vaccine activated. I'm ready to do whatever the government tells me now. I'm
so the thing is they're saying that if it didn't matter if you had the vaccine or not. They're saying
it started out with the vaccine, and then they just said anybody that hears it is going to,
because they realized they're trying to use scare tactics on people that 90% of their audience and stuff like didn't get the fucking vaccine. So they're like, well, we got to say that if it doesn't matter, your family, the people you argue with are gonna fucking get it, but you also are too.
Yeah.
By the way, apparently the site Gays Against Groomers, I just saw this pop up. Fucking awful organization. Have had online restraining orders placed against them by certain schools. Because schools are tired of them like getting threatened with like bomb threats and stuff like that because of these.
Yeah, fuck those pieces of shit.
Social media
fuck
people.
To fucking hell and back and then back into hell again.
Yes.
Which means they cannot mention them or target them in any of their social media stuff. They have a restraining order against them. So that's pretty interesting.
Okay, so we've got this is Lucifer writing here. Real quick, just kind of get an idea of other people's, so we can make fun of them for not being objectively correct.
Wow, What If and Hawkeye in the S tier? Holy shit, that's interesting.
Dude, like Werewolf by Night is there too. I wonder if like overall Werewolf by Night is just considered like.
I think it is. I think pretty much everybody.
It was so good.
Partly because it's also 45 minutes long, so like it didn't waste any time doing anything that could be controversial or boring, or it's just it is a nice little lean piece of media.
I would argue that Marvel needs to lean into these specials more than they do their own shows and stuff. I think the specials are more successful, personally.
I agree. They should lean more into it.
Yeah, the specials were surprisingly good. I kind of expected the Guardians Holiday Special to be fun. Werewolf by Night, I had no idea what to expect, and I loved it. It was just refreshing.
Okay, and then we got this is Morgan, co-host of the Fapcast. And by the way, on Sunday we are doing Raptures on the Fapcast. We're going to be talking about some Raptures.
I haven't seen. Okay, I was like, wow, that's a lot at the bottom. Oh, okay. Morgan, watch Werewolf by Night and Eternals and No Way Home. Oh my god. And
wait, Loki movie is coming out. No, the season 2.
No, Loki season 2 is coming out.
So it comes out Friday, I think. So
yeah.
So wow, Morgan's the only S tier for Morgan is the holiday special, and then hey, that is a different list. I'll say that. Werewolf by Night. Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at that like that was the D.
Yeah. So I was like, wait, that's haven't seen. Like I said, Morgan, you gotta do Werewolf by Night. You gotta do Eternals. You gotta do No Way Home.
Mm-hmm.
And Moon Knight.
Probably like Eternals, Morgan. I think that might be one that you
I'm biased here, but I would say prioritize Werewolf by Night. It's the season. It's October.
Plus, it's an hour and you're done. That's it.
Yeah.
And then let's see, who is it? Oh, this is PR Deadpool, I believe. He's always got some good takes, except when he doesn't. But let's see what he's got. Fair. Okay.
I'm not going to disagree with Falcon and Winter Soldier in the S tier. I kind of like that bold move of putting that one in the S tier. I'm a huge Bucky fan, so I thought he was great in that.
I mean,
this is objectively almost the best objective list outside of ours.
Yeah, it's second best objective list.
I would say it is a choice putting the Guardians of the Galaxy special in C.
I was about to say,
that's
I cannot. That's the one I'm like, no.
Look, here's the thing with me is I remember I went on your podcast and we talked about it, Bob.
Yeah.
I am historically I fucking hate Christmas media. Just because childhood family stuff, and it's just like I like having anti-Christmas media. So I like watching stuff like Die Hard and horror movies about Christmas and stuff like that. I don't like it. So I was not looking forward to it, honestly, when I went into it. And by the end, I had fucking Christmas feels for the first time in I don't know how many years. So I got to rate that pretty highly.
Mm-hmm.
You post a screenshot in the you're not in the server, so because you left, but so there's a few of them.
Okay.
I'm sure there's more in the other spots I posted it, but thanks, guys.
Yeah, that was fun.
Thanks for diving
in. That was a good palate cleanser after all the stuff we had to discuss.
By the way, 78 people watching. Are you subscribed to the channel that you're watching on? And if so, are you subscribed to the channels you're not watching on? Because they're all linked in the description.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Have you hit that like button? Have you hit that bell icon for new notifications?
Also, a super easy thing. We have a Linktree link. You can go to that, and then there's all our channel links there.
And I can officially get super chats now. So if you guys didn't know that, I have a membership and everything on my channel. So
dude, we didn't do blurry films. I wanted to.
Yes, you know what? Let me pull that up. We can close out.
Shout out to Blurry Films for hitting 1,000 fucking subscribers.
Yay! Congrats.
He's finally cool.
Yes. So 1,000 subs. This guy's awesome. Go give him a sub. Go give him some likes. Go give him some love, guys. Let's get him to 2,000 real quick.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, here's Blu-ray films. Anything you guys want to shout out before we close out?
Also, Pop Counterculture hit 500 subs, so congratulations to him.
Ooh.
We might be working on a little project, collaboration with him soon. So.
Yes, we are. So here we go. Blu-ray films. This is his latest video. He gave it to us to share on this. So enjoy, guys.
As you said, this wasn't a source video, this was your personal analysis, and your personal analysis largely reflects my own.
The bottom line here is, if indeed, as you seem to suggest, and you're very knowledgeable about these things, the Atlantic is not just going to pull this out of their ass out of nowhere. This Lucasfilm Civil War, which a lot of people have poo-pooed the existence of, which I think is insane.
I know for a fact it's real. As I've said before, one of my close friends is one of Jon Favreau's inner circle crew members who goes with him from project to project to project to project. And he told me directly last year that Mr. Favreau hated The Last Jedi and essentially had contacted Disney himself and said that, can I help you fix this? I love this property. Can I help you fix this? Now, again, I don't know Mr. Favreau personally. I know one of his inner circle. That's what was relayed to me. So that person wouldn't lie to me. So I know for a fact that Mr. Favreau never shared this vision. And what we've seen in the last couple of years is the play out of these two visions, and this article now reveals which vision has won. I think over the next 20 years, this era of Star Wars will be forgotten. And
the sequel trilogy cannot stand in terms of canon. We cannot live with Luke Skywalker having that fate, So that's got to be decanonized. My sources have said that that's the long-term goal of the, world between worlds, the Veil of the Force, using those mirrors and everything.
I've heard it separately. A friend of mine who is a very successful screenwriter, much more successful than me, nowhere he sends it his DM. So just want to let you know, I'm hearing that that Dave Filoni has a plan specifically to erase the thing, and it's already been seeded, and we're watching it play out.
So I don't mean to be that guy, but Doomcock. How's that world between worlds retconning the sequel trilogy going? I mean, after all, you had your verified sources that confirmed it was a for sure thing, right? That maybe I missed something with this season of Ahsoka, but it seemed like when they introduced the world between worlds that you were so sure was going to be used to create this alternate timeline. But I'm sure that's still going to happen, right? Because, like you said, I mean, they use the world between worlds, right? I mean, that's all the world between worlds that they're going to use to retcon the sequel trilogy and create a new timeline, right? Even though they didn't do that. Almost like I predicted that that's something they wouldn't do. Or maybe it's the fact that if you look on Baylan Skoll's Comwrist device, you can have the words translated on what's on the list of the names on his wrist. And, it goes for Luke and Leia and Han, C-3PO, R2-D2, Chewbacca, and also Ben. Do you ever get tired of being wrong? Just curious. Doomcock, here's a thought. Maybe, and I'm just suggesting maybe, whenever you have these credible sources that you totally believe are accurate, but you're not going to verify, maybe from here on out, when those sources turn out to be bunk, as they usually do, you should expose who those sources were and give a detailed explanation as to why you found them to be credible. Of course, I know you might make the excuse that, well, if I expose my sources, then no one would want to be my source. Well, here's the thing. As long as you made it clear to your sources that their anonymous status would remain in effect so long as their information turned out to be true, they would have nothing to fear so long as their information was actually credible and reliable. That would actually be a great way of siphoning out the real sources versus the fake people that you're constantly promoting on your channel as credible sources, even though 9 times out of 10 they turn out to be bunk, and that's being incredibly generous to you. For you to also provide a detailed explanation as to why you found them credible, it could also give people an inside light into your perspective as to what makes you deem sources credible or not. Just saying, it would go a long way to build your reputation as a credible news source for the Star Wars universe and Star Wars media, for you to actually do the most bare minimum work to establish that kind of credibility, instead of keeping already bunked sources secret when you really have no other reason to do so other than the fact that if you were to expose your sources that have been proven to be bunked, your credibility would go straight down the shitter. Prove me wrong.